What about Connor? Oh, we should talk about that on the thing.
Oh, we'll get into it all, mate. Don't you worry about that.
Connor and his coke-fueled private jet over from... You can imagine, you can just picture it. They're all in the pub like, fuck it, let's go over there.
What's that fucking...
Fucking hell, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, let's get on the fucking
What's
jet.
this fucking Rusky saying now? We got to get over there.
You could just see it, though, when he picked that dolly thing up and tried to launch it through the
Jesus.
window. It was like, you are on drugs. I think he's responded now because Rogan said, oh, it looked like he was sort of like... Because he said it a couple of times, it's like it's a coke-fueled... That's the actions of a coke-fueled man, and I think he's responded. I've not seen the response though.
God, Gareth, we're live.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So just worth noting the very fine bone china we've got going on here. With this is a commemorative mug from TK Maxx for the royal wedding of Harry and Meghan.
It's divine.
It's like delightful, isn't it? I'm
really
pleased with it.
Yeah, it really is.
Add to the collection, and it's somewhat inspired by Koo commenting on Instagram, like a couple of fine English gentlemen having a chat. I was like, right, I'm gonna have to break out the bone china for this one.
Absolutely.
Dearie me. Oh no, the spoons are over there. Don't worry, I've got.
Oh, dude.
Got it covered.
Have we got sugar as well, or is it?
Oh shit, no.
Okay, don't worry. That's all right. I'm watching the waste. It's all right. It's good. We definitely need.
It's all keto here.
We definitely need the plastic spoon. No, thank you very much.
It's just important to get it all right. Gareth, how you doing? You all right?
I'm very well, mate. You?
Yeah, man, I'm fine. Thanks for coming down.
Very, very good to be here. Great job. Really enjoying the podcast, mate. That's why I sent you the message.
Thank you.
It's exactly what you said. Like when you go back to someone's house and play tunes. It's exactly that vibe. It's exactly that vibe, mate. And I love it. Like when I'm cooking, chopping carrots up, I'm listening to you drawing the tunes. It's wicked.
Brilliant. That was the kind of what I wanted to go for, and I just like the first episode that I did of it was just at mine. I thought, I could set them both the decks up, and then I'll tell you what, I'll do one. I'll play one record, and then I'll just talk in between.
Yeah.
And then a few people like commented like, "Hey, I've got a great idea. Why don't you get a second deck, and then you could mix between the two?" And then a load of other people commented, "No, that would ruin it."
That would change the whole dynamic and what makes it special, you know. And because you're enjoying the piece of music, instead of the anticipation of the mix,
listening to the next one,
you know, because drum and bass is what's next, what's the next tune going to be,
yeah.
What, you know, and it's nice just to actually appreciate the here and now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is what would be a common problem I had when I used to play out very young. I would razz myself full of party powder, and then get too into the tune it was playing, and then we sort of look round and there'd be like about that much left on the record. Oh fuck! Yeah. I had to like, mate, I think we've all frantically dig through.
I think we've all had some real disasters with vinyl and record decks and things other substances being involved, and I mean, like I grew up like.
We grew up in the rave scene. What the hell do you think?
I grew up with like a crew of people, and we used to do like a lot of like a little illegal raves, really, in the sort of surrounding area around sort of Surrey and Sussex, and we found like an old disused slaughterhouse, and we used to set up in like one of the old sort of big refrigerators in there.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, like I'm used to doing like 7-8 hour sets, you know, where like all my mates are so off their face. It's just like, I can't play, you carry on. So I'd like play all my tunes and all the flip sides and everyone else's tunes. So yeah.
Well, someone's got to do it. Rusko was saying on Twitter the other day, which it was like, has anyone ever else had like nightmares about DJing? And I used to have recurring nightmares that, particularly when I used to play vinyl, which would be I would turn up at a show, open up my records to play, and they weren't my records.
Someone else's.
Yeah, and I'd be like looking through, like, shit, I don't know any of these tunes.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. And then like the last record of the DJ before me would finish, and there'd be silence, and I'd be sort of looking up, and everyone would be standing there like
looking at you with the pressure. Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, I can't find anything. There must be something. And then gradually people would just drift away until it was a completely empty dance floor.
Just the guy sweeping the glasses up off the floor. I've DJed in quite a few places where that's the only guy you're playing to.
Yeah.
You know, I think the only time I played at the end was to the bar staff that was setting up before it opened the doors. I played at a Renegade Highway night, but it was to Clayton and the 5 bar people before they opened the doors. But
well, as long as Clayton was into it, you're all right.
Yeah, let's not talk about him.
Oh, God. They keep doing, like, the last Renegade Holiday, and then we're doing another one, and then another one.
Yeah. Good luck to him.
Yeah, God bless him.
Yeah, let him flog that dead horse.
Deary me. So, one of the great things about playing all the old records again is, like, I've had my records in storage for about the last, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And they've been back and forwards to Berlin twice.
That's right, because you used to live out there.
Yeah. I was there for 4 years, but I moved back to London for 3 months in the middle of that by mistake.
Right.
I moved to Woolwich by mistake. It's a little bit like in With Nail and I when they go on holiday by accident. It's the best way I can describe it.
We can swear on here, can't we?
You can say whatever you want.
What are you, terrible cunt? Love that film.
Oh, man. It gets better with every watch.
Yeah.
At the Duke of York in Brighton, they very occasionally show it like late night, at like 10 o'clock on a Friday, and it's just full of pissed up people. Like,
do you know what? I need to watch that film. It's been a few years actually since I've watched it. It's one of them ones that you need to sort of every few years it needs to come out and.
It's one of those films that I feel like people need to watch maybe on their own for the first time, because if you sit down and like show it to someone, and particularly now people have got lower attention spans, and you're like, oh yeah, this bit, this bit, and you're really excited. They're like, what? It's like, no, you need to rewatch it 5-10 times, and then it's amazing.
It's one of them films that you need to really absorb in. Over a few watches, you know. But yeah, classic. So funny.
Yeah, so I moved to London by mistake. That happened, and then moved back to Berlin, carting 2,500 records around with me the whole time.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah, I really liked that. Yeah. It was good. It was a fun expense to have, and great workout. Great way to stay fit. But then I finally got them back, and they were in storage in Berlin for a while, even after I'd moved back here, and then I got them all shipped back and stuck them all in my studio. I've got another studio down the road with all my, where I actually make shitty tunes, and in my opinion, and like started pulling stuff out. I'm like, oh, look, here they all are, all the old like early noughties classics, and about 24 old Resident Evil records.
Oh, mate. You're going back a bit there.
Yeah, so like all the stuff on Gain and G2 and...
Amazing. I was going through it all today to sort of which ones I was going to bring down. And there was a few, man. And it's like when you start going through all the... Because obviously I've got a section in my records which are like all my records that I've made. I sort of keep them separate from everything else. So when I actually start going through there, you actually start realising how many tunes I've done.
Man, you're a prolific man.
And there's a lot of tunes that I did. Like I used to work for Alpha Magic in the studios.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I used to write tunes for them. Like a lot of the bootleg labels, like that was just me.
Was it right? Okay, so which ones did you do anything on Shout? That Shout label?
No. Camo, yeah. That was us. That was Mackie.
Yeah, I thought it was.
That was Mackie. Basically, Mackie, who's a good friend of mine, was part of Resident Evil along with Colin Worth, Risk, and Mackie, the three of us. After Resident Evil kind of sort of split, we're all cool. It was just natural. Me and Mackie carried on making tunes together, and even before that. And he basically got a job at Alpha Magic, doing sales and sort of running because obviously they owned a lot of in-house labels. Yeah. They were fronted by people, but they were actually owned by Alpha. Like Outbreak was fronted by Dylan, but it was owned by Alpha. Yeah. Cell Recordings, Invaders,
Signal. Invaders, fucking hell.
All that stuff. Like I remember doing like a mixed compilation on that. Like we basically had the freedom to do whatever we wanted. Jerry, the geezer that used to run it, was like the old tour manager for Sex Pistols. So like he would just sit in his office under mountains of paperwork. Anyone that went in his office, he would just look up over his glasses. But he gave you the freedom to do what you wanted because he sort of knew that we were buzzing and into it. Yeah. So we were like coming with, let's do this, let's do a compilation, let's celebrate this many releases. And so, we just, when Jay got up there, he kind of, he got the ball and he sort of ran with it. And then luckily for me, he sort of got me. You know, his next thing was to we'll get Gareth in here, and you know he can work in the studio. They had a studio downstairs. They had like 2 studios. There's one guy in there doing like hard house and trance for all their in-house trance labels, and he would literally spend all weekend in there doing fucking speed and just sitting there. Like you would literally leave him on a
Me too, mate,
Friday.
trance.
You would leave him on a Friday, and he'd still be in there on a Monday morning. And he's not. And he's literally just gone
Oh my
out,
God.
got food, and just sat in this dark room.
It's just the trance studio equivalent of Berghain.
Yeah, and then across the hall we had like the drum and bass studio, and you know like Tony Damage used to work there, and then used to get like Loxy passing through, Ink passing through. So yeah, man, it was great times, and then and you know and any ideas we had, they were like the facilities were there for us to do it. So it was just like let's do some bootlegs. It was just like, so Jay started Camo Records, you know, and just he was just like, right, make some bootlegs.
Yeah.
So I did a Madonna one. I did Everybody in the House Getting Tipsy. I can't remember the hip hop tune.
Oh, Chiggy.
Yeah, I did that.
I've got.
I did
I
a
think I've
few.
got all the Camo ones.
I did quite a few. Yeah.
There was a Blue Cantrell one on there that was good. That one that she did with Sean Paul.
Yeah.
Say you love me, but you never.
Yeah.
before me.
No, I don't think I did that one. Everything I did, I always went dark side with.
Yeah.
And they didn't really. I don't think they really wanted that. They wanted like
mainstream.
Yeah, they wanted like Madonna over a nice sort of rolling beat and sort of a skippy summertime break, and I would put it with a Trayman and a Reese. With some
That doesn't sound like you.
With some bass stabs and some donk donk knocks on it as well,
yeah.
you know. And yeah, but it was cool. But like I say, it was great times. I was very privileged to have that sort of introduction into the scene, and I was making records and I was pressing records and I was kind of getting used to the whole process of like getting my stuff back, listening to it, and going, oh shit, that's can't even hear the snare. Right, that my snare needs to go up. So it was just like fine tuning mixes and it was invaluable.
Yeah,
and
what better way to do it than that?
Yeah, and then I blagged my way from going up to the studio, which was in Willesden, which was a bit of a ball ache to get to for me, really.
Yeah.
Because I'm, right down in Surrey, so it was just like, and I just sort of said like I'd be so much more productive in my own studio, and I'll just send you the music. So there's no difference. So for the last few months of the company, I just worked for my own studio. Got paid a monthly salary to go and sit in the studio and write tunes.
Yeah, there you go. It's like every young producer's
It
dream,
was,
really,
it was the dream, mate, and it lasted probably 6-7 months before the company went bust.
What happened to them? They just plummeting vinyl sales, or
artists taking the piss, basically.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there was quite a few artists. I won't mention names. They know who they are, but they were responsible for the fucking demise of that company.
Really, that's a shame.
Yeah, taking the piss. You know, getting advances. You know, and stuff. As you know, it was probably a lot of bad managerial decisions as well to sort of give those people the opportunities. But yeah, it was. Some people looked at it as a cash cow.
Right.
You know, and and they sort of bled it dry.
I wonder if that was the same with. When New Urban went under.
I think a lot of them. I think there's a lot of them the same when you got independent people with labels and it's their little baby, and they'll and if drum and bass is a small little world. If there's a pound note flying around, someone's gonna and you're relying on it to pay your bills. It's kind of every man for himself. It's a very dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't really realise that about drum and bass. That it's a pie. And there's sex, you know what I mean? And you kind of
Well, so people would come and visit the distributors and just like help themselves in the warehouse.
Yeah.
That was sort of part of the. It was supposed to be sort of part of the deal. Like 50 copies of your release were sort of for that, but then
just friends and family, just so you can dish out to whoever.
It was always nice going up to see. It was like, oh, come down to the warehouse. So it's like, oh, you like this, and you leave with like 25, 30 records.
Yeah, Anyone used to come up to this. Anyone used to come up there with me. I'd be like, come on, I'll take you down to the warehouse. And the warehouse was a warehouse full of vinyl, and you had all the old stuff, right? And we did everything, man. All the penetration stuff for Tech Hitch, like I can't even into like I said, Outbreak, all that stuff. We had it all, and so people would leave with, like you say, like 50, 60 quid worth of tunes, like just for nothing,
I remember there was a shop in Brighton on Trafalgar Street called Dance Traders.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
I remember after or towards the end of Alpha Magic, an enormous amount of records turning up, and suddenly everything in the shop was £1.
Yep.
And then the shop closed down.
Yeah.
There was something going on.
We went up there. I'm pretty sure me and Mackie went up there when we knew that the auditors were coming in and changing the locks, because there was a Mackie desk up there, 32x8 desk up there. There was DN audio speakers, like compressors, hardware delay units up there. There was a few bits,
Right.
and like we were owed money, so we was like, I'm gonna go and take the desk. Like we're gonna go out there, but we got up there, the locks had already changed, and the desk had already gone. I think that was one of the first things, because the bank needed their money back.
You're about to admit to a crime there.
I wasn't. No,
pulled it back at the last minute.
Yeah. It was over how many years ago? Yeah, it's like keep digging, Gareth. We can still see you.
What do they call it in America? Beyond, like the statute of limitations.
Yes,
like that Doug Stanhope joke about rinsing his mum's credit cards or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just an idea. We talked about it, but we didn't really go up there.
Yeah, just got stoned and had a bit of a chat about it.
Yeah, we just thought we thought it was a good idea, but yeah.
I was thinking about doing some like specific shows of just all that sort of old stuff, like all the bits on Cell, Gain, G2, Signal, all of those. And I've got so many of them, and then so I've got loads and loads of whites that are from those, but I have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
Just there were boxes and boxes of them at Dance Traders, and it was like, all right, well, everything's £1, but if you want to take that 50, I'll do it for £20 or something. It was absurd.
It was. I mean, when we left, we did have Jerry sort of said to us, like, just take anything you're kind of associated with labels wise. Obviously, Mackie ran Gain and G2. So we took all of that. So in the old studio where we had like 50 copies of each record.
Yeah.
It was like a record shop in there. And we used to give things away. It's just like it feels like a golden era now. It's just gone, you know. People still buy vinyl, but not like that.
No.
You know?
Who were the other artists that sort of came up on those labels, like Counter Strike?
I was just about to say Justin. Counter Strike was like
Temper D and K Fire.
Yes.
I think Dave Temper D's like a psychologist now or something. He was doing
great DJ.
Man, so good.
Great DJ.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely guy as well.
Like
I'm a big fan of Dave.
Yeah, like AMC kind of level DJing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, AMC's bad man on the decks. Yeah, Temper D, he was there. He was great.
I think he still does the odd show. Like me, him and Raiden used to get on the same shows in Portugal a lot.
Yeah.
With some fucking nutty promoter who in Porto.
Every promoter in Porto is a nutter.
Yeah, a guy called Bruno.
Yeah, I play for Bruno.
Oh, yeah.
Did he have like a little husky voice? It's quite short.
Hey, Ramadama,
don't worry, I pay you. It's okay.
Yeah, have some cocaine.
It's okay, I pay you. I pay you after.
Yeah.
At the airport, I pay you.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Standard. It's like, and you spend the whole night like, am I going to get paid? Am I going to get paid? Am I going to get paid? So it's okay. When you get on the plane and you're just about to take off, I pay you.
Yeah. it was like one of those sort of trust exercises or something it would just force you into.
I remember going out there once, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but I know Paul Meth had him up against
Yeah.
I was just scruff of the neck, like, where's my money?
And telling him that his breath stank like he'd cleaned his teeth with shit.
Yes, yeah. God bless. Love you, Paul. Love you, Meth.
Raid, well, there are a few of us out there, and I shouldn't tell the story. I'll save it for the book.
Yes, the memoirs.
Oh God, yeah, he's a legendary promoter. He still, I think he still puts on shows
on the boat.
Yeah.
Great place though. That
man,
the parties.
There are a few boats that were really good.
Yeah.
Next door to each other. There was one I did with J Magic and Wicker Man, and it was after a carnival, so everyone was in fancy dress. But like the night before, it had been really stormy, so the sea was still a little bit choppy.
Yeah.
And people were by about 4 a.m, people started getting a bit seasick.
Ooh.
And then people started throwing up, and it was just anarchy in there. It was like the last days of Rome, or like one of those skins parties. Like the toilet, like the urinal was all blocked and was just going woof, 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 with a layer of sick over the top, and it stank in there. People are just doing lines off any available surface because it's Portugal. Portugal and like all drugs are decriminalised. Like
They just don't give a shit.
They just don't care. Like it's I was still playing vinyl at the time, and I remember turning around to my record bag, finding a tune, turning back, and someone had taken the slip mat off and was racking up lines on the thing. Just someone had leant over, like they were in the front of the crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, hey, I give you. I'm like, I gotta play the next tune.
And let it be known as well that Portugal is notorious for having like peak time set in Portugal. Porto is like 7 in the morning.
Yep.
Till like 9 in the morning.
Yeah. No one gets there till 4.
Yeah, like because they eat dinner at like 11, then they go to the bar. They would sit there drinking at home, then they go to the bar for a few hours, then roll up to the club like 3, 4 o'clock, then drink a little bit, do some drugs, and then by 7 they're ready.
Yeah,
and it's like
bonkers.
It just kills me, man, every time.
Yeah, man, there was just some nuts parties there. I remember being out there with Dave Temper D once, and there was this girl that was just obsessed with him, and she was completely insane, and he would just have to spend the whole night like really avoiding her like the plague. And she was like, hi Rankin, you're good, but I am here for Temper D. I love him. He is the best. And then there was one time when she was like running around in the road outside the club and jumped onto a car that sort of stopped and like. But tripped and just smashed her face into the windscreen, and then she had blood all over, and she was like, Temper D!
Wow.
They're passionate kids.
There is some, there's some crazy cats out there, man, and how they show their appreciation for what you do is.
I love those parties. Like even we did a couple of position crime things there last year with Koo, Mathis, and Frags.
Yes.
And they were great. I mean, they're just so much fun. Oh, and Dave from the sect. It was a good. Oh no, Koo wasn't there. Oh, I can't remember. It's, you know.
Position crime boys.
Yeah. Good boys.
Mathis.
Good burly boys.
Hello, Mathis. Long time, mate.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen him.
Well, that was the last time I saw him. I mean, I used to see him all the time.
I know he's a daddy now as well.
He is, yeah. Little kid came out with the silver teeth already.
Yeah, Dr. Doom set of teeth. Grills in there already. Yeah. He seems to have, from what I've seen from the pictures, I haven't spoken to him. He seems to have jumped into being a father.
Oh, he's loving it.
Like,
yeah. He's
and he always. I remember always before, like, no, I am a panacea, you know, like, and it was just this kind of attitude that wouldn't happen to him. He wouldn't be that guy.
Yeah.
And he is, and it's lovely to see. So big shout out to Mathis.
I am panacea. This is.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Like if you know Mathis, it was like being a dad like 10 years ago was just like
so far off
when
the
he
agenda.
when he said no, I'm not. I probably you kind of believed him. You're like, yeah, I could see you just being expensive clothes and just having his starting, and it was just. He's icon, man.
I wonder how he's doing, like cleaning baby sick off like some 500 quid.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His all black outfit. But yeah, I remember like I bought Jacob's Ladder, on Position Chrome. Like it was like one of the first records I remember buying. So it's like he's been, and I always remember seeing his like record reviews in like DJ Mag,
right?
And they'd obviously have like pictures of him. And he'd have like one contact eye in and like the teeth, and he just looked like a mad character.
Yeah. And
he made drum and bass, and it was just like really fucking twisted drum and bass. Like Jacob's Ladder is an experience to listen to him. Do you know what I mean? Like all that early stuff on Position Chrome.
He made one of my favourite records ever, which is Kings of the Jungle, which was on the Hardest Tour on Planet Earth, I think. Album, him and Kativo, and I used to hear it at the Volks at Lunacy back in like 2000.
Love the Volks.
Oh man, it's still going. It's still the Volks. It's the same security.
I was there probably 4 or 5 weeks ago for a night.
Really?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. Yeah. I hope it's there for the rest of my life.
It can either, I find with the Volks, it can either be amazing or it's not. Or it's like really busy and it's full of vibes and everyone's crazy, or it's the complete polar opposite and it's kind of empty and it's not really going off. I've never had an in between night there.
Yeah,
but I've had some amazing times in there where like it's just crazy. Yeah, and I didn't want to come off the decks,
Yeah. I mean, I basically grew up in there, like going to Lunacy every Friday night, and until I didn't really go to any other nights until I was actually 18. And because like queuing up for Meltdown at the beach, which
Yeah.
had all the big lineups.
Yeah.
They were all horror stories. Oh, you'll queue for 2 hours and then they won't accept your fake ID. And we're like,
Yeah.
fuck it, we just go to Lunacy every Friday. Who cares?
Yeah.
Go and see
We used to
Chris
come down
Natural
here-
and everyone.
We used to come down here and see, was it Quantum?
Yeah.
Rock One,
Yeah.
Quantum, Skinny,
Yep.
and then Skinny obviously used to engineer with
Friction.
for Friction and
Yeah.
do tunes with Ed. So yeah, we used to Brighton was a little haunt for us because obviously it's only like half an hour down the road. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not far for us. You know, it was probably easier to come down this way than it was to go uptown.
Mm. Yeah.
But yeah, we was regulars at Swerve, Movement, Metalheads on a Sunday.
Yeah, for some reason I never went out to Movement. I was good friends with Rob, who ran it for ages, and then I don't know why, it was on a Thursday, wasn't it?
Yes, Thursday night bar run bar.
Yeah.
Amazing, 9 till 2, and I probably couldn't tell you what tunes, but I know I've heard some tunes go off in there for the first time. You know, like where the DJ's pulled up and they've got the plate and they're just testing it, and it's just crazy. What great times, man. Great times. Swerve, you know, and then Metalheads. I was lucky enough to went to the last Metalheads at the Blue Note. At the Blue Note?
Blue Note? Yeah.
Blue Note. And that was special, man. That was really special. Like people crying, do you know what I mean? I've never been to people like upset that it was the end, do you know what I mean? And bottles of champagne being passed around the crowd, and just, you know, all the Goldie was in the crowd, and just like, you know, Locust, like I think you played Cut Slow Locust the other day. It was like Randall dropped it and it like pulled it back, like rewound it 3 times in there. And if you ever went to Blue Note, it's a tiny venue. It's like, it's just, I think I'll remember that for the rest of my days, to be fair.
Yeah, I do remember like hearing stuff for the first time at like, this is a little bit later on than that, but like hearing Marky drop LK for the first time.
Yeah.
And rewinding it God knows how many times and things. So I actually remember like talking to Stamina after that and just talking about rewinds in general and the sort of are you a rewind man?
Not so much. Excuse me. Most of my work is probably abroad in Europe. So
yeah, they don't love a rewind in Europe.
Nah, they kind of look at you like, "What are you doing?"
Particularly in Germany.
Yeah, is there something wrong with the deck?
Yeah,
or is
there been
it
an
broken?
accident?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need to exit the club through the nearest exit? Or,
yeah.
You know, it's So I think you just have to judge the place.
Yeah.
London always, if it's going off, it'll just do it at the right time, the right tune, and it takes the whole vibe up another notch. You know, like having a good MC.
Yeah,
it can take a set up another notch, and it's all about that, you know.
I remember like Stamina saying about like the specific. He only had very specific occasions when he would call for the rewind.
Yeah,
it'd be like if the tune was so fresh, like so new, and people sort of almost weren't ready for it. That it would have to come from the top. Yeah, and they'd be like, "Look, guys,
it's like an education."
Yeah, a little bit like this is the new thing. Or when the crowd are going so and so, they actually need to be calmed down a little bit. Yeah. Or if there's going to be it's going to be a riot if there's no rewind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's sort of still acceptable now, because kids, like it just feels like attention spans generally, not just the kids, but just generally, it's just getting shorter and shorter. You play a set now and it's just like they just want to drop every 30 seconds. Yeah,
that was a big thing I remember, particularly in Europe when dubstep was like going insane. So like 2012, 2011, when it was really starting, that sort of bro-steppy ridiculousness was just going mad. Like we go and play somewhere like Belgium to like a massive crowd of like a couple of thousand people, and if your tune went on for longer than 30 seconds, people were getting visibly annoyed. Yeah. Like they would go insane for like the build up, it would drop, they'd go bonkers for 10 seconds, then they'd stand there and just stare at you.
And they're expecting another drum roll and another drop and a drum roll and another drop.
You burn through 200 tracks in an hour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really I think it's really sad. It's really sad, people like, sit there working on a tune and a kid, all they want to listen to is 45 seconds of it. Yeah. And I just, and I think it also comes, like responsibility comes from the people playing the music as well, not to necessarily feed into that, you know, and go, no, actually, you're going to hear the second fucking breakdown.
Yep.
Because, you know, like I actually worked on this. Like I actually spent some fucking hours, and you're going to listen to it whether you like it or not.
Oh, you don't like it? You're getting it even longer. You'll learn to like it.
You know where the bar is.
It's, I don't know. It's very strange. Like there was no. Basically, there wasn't any dancing. There was like an insane moment of sort of explosive movement, and then standing still. There was just no like constant dancing movement. It was, I don't know. It was the sort of generation that grew up getting their music off of YouTube. Yeah. Rather than, you know, well, from any other source that you would normally get music from. I mean, I don't want to in a record shop.
I don't want to sound like, you know, it sort of just sounds like my dad really. Like, oh, it's not like it was in my day. But it, you know,
but it's fucking wasn't.
It's not, you know, I really do believe they kind of miss it. They just miss this whole like the late 90s, early 2000s, the whole record buying, the whole experience of saving your money, going out once, you know, getting paid on that, and having a day where you're like, right. And, you know, it didn't matter how lazy you would be up at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'd have had your breakfast. You're ready to go. You got your plan on what shops you're hitting. Yep. Your course of, you know, your most fucking logical way round to get, you know, to go through London. Right, I start in Croydon, hit Wax City, go up through. Do you know what I mean? And it was and then a big round trip, and then by about 4 o'clock, I'd be on the bus home with a big stack of like, you know, 100 quid's worth of records, you know?
It was also trying to sort of balance which tunes you were going to get, which you felt you could wait next week for, which you thought, that one's not going to run out, but this one, I need to get this one now, because that won't be.
And we've all been there. You've all been looking at, I can't afford to get both of them. I need to choose. Yeah. And you'd be like, oh, fuck, I'll put that one down. You'd go, oh, no, maybe that one I don't need. So listen to it again. It's just that whole experience is I don't know. Connection to the music is.
I had a moment in HMV where I wanted to buy Cybertron, Dillinger album.
Great album.
Amazing. But it was like 25 quid. And at the time, I only really wanted one plate out of it, which was the one with All Aboard on one side and Told You How to Rock on the other side. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm going to spend 25. 25 quid was a lot of money to me back then. Yep. And I was umming, oohing and ahhing about it, and it was stood in the rack, and I was like, and then another DJ who I didn't know at the time, and she'll remain nameless, came in, walked straight up to it, took that plate out of it, put it in another sleeve, and went and paid 5 quid for it, and walked out. I was like, you fucking bastard. And it was the only copy they had in the store, and I was like, and I never bought it. In fact, I bought it 2 days ago on Discogs for £7. Man, you can get stuff so cheap on Discogs now. Like great in good condition, like old early noughties tunes. Like got Kilohertz for £5, Big Bad Bass for £5. I had both of those, but classic as well. They've gone missing somewhere.
Just classic tunes, man.
I want to get Carl on here. That'd be
he's just
find out all the old
he's just a legend, mate.
The old techniques from back in the day.
Yeah, just run it into the fucking red.
Yeah, so this is what someone was telling me. Scott Dales was telling me the other day that the story is that he would run it out of one channel, max it out, just put it into another channel, do it again, and then just keep going until it sounded how he wanted it.
I mean, I just love the way that like his bass would compress the whole tune. When the bass came in, you could feel everything else dipping down as the 808s hit, and and being a mastering engineer back then, like to master that, you just
let him do it himself. Like
try and sculpt, try and top and tail that piece of music to kind of get it onto a piece of vinyl. Yeah.
So let's just widen these grooves out. Like, can you chop a minute off the track?
They need to be like Grand Canyon deep, mate, for his bass. You know, it's like. I mean, the good thing is that he's a real advocate, I think, of mono. So everything was like straight down the middle. So it's.
Oh, really? Well, certainly all the bottom was.
I mean, I know that. I'm sure he wrote. I'm sure Lemon D used to write just on one speaker. Literally just on one speaker.
What, out of choice?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure I've seen a video somewhere on the internet with Lemon D, and he's just rolling one speaker. And it's true, I suppose. You get that mono image sounding good, and anything on the side that you add to that is gonna just enhance it, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Because it's always a shit. Like, I just do the classic of like making a whole tune and go, I'll just see what it sounds like in
Yeah,
mono.
and it
then,
disappears.
Like,
Everything just goes.
Yeah.
It's like, where's everything gone? It's like, I mean, back in the day, it probably used to be, but I think sound systems generally are getting a lot better now, where you can, it's not just a mono rig, and it's it's got a left and a right.
Yeah.
You can pan things and have them going backwards. Like we're in that world now.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I've even played some shows recently where the monitor speakers have actually sounded good. Can you imagine such a thing? I've actually been able to hear what I was doing.
It's a rarity, man.
Yeah, certainly in this country it is.
Yeah.
Christ. I mean, like, it's actually embarrassing, like, some of the club setups in the UK compared to how good they are in, like, Holland or...
The hospitality as well, generally, to be fair, like, from what we know from when we travel abroad and how people make us feel welcome, and... Like, I know people that come to this country to play like big festivals, and they're like ringing up, chasing their driver. They're like, "Hello,
God,
like I'm here. Is anyone going to pick me up?" Like,
it's hard enough at a well-organised European festival. Like you're on your own at UK festivals.
And just generally like dinner. Like, you want dinner? It's like, like...
What? Yeah, there's probably a kebabby on the way home.
Yeah,
just get your own taxi.
Just grab yourself something. Taxi ranks like 5 minutes down the road. It's just like, just not used to... We're really spoilt when you go to abroad and they treat you like a human being, and they'll go out for dinner with you and like make sure you get back to the hotel and make sure you're at the airport for your flight, It's
it's like, I'll go backstage, like, oh, look, there are towels and... waters and a sort of
rider. What's a rider?
It's like, I get a load of stupid shit on my rider, like a cheese board with local cheeses shaped in a face. Like, I'm never expecting anyone to actually get. And then sometimes, like, it'll be like in Utrecht or something, and they're like,
get it.
"Oh, we got some local cheeses, and we got all the different." Like, "Oh my God, you got it, and it's in the shape of a face."
Yeah, I probably need to add some fun. I've not got any stuff like that. I'm sure someone. I know Wilkinson had masks.
Nice,
like just like fancy dress masks.
Yeah,
was on their rider, so him and Adapt could just sort of wear masks.
I used to have like if I was doing an American tour or Australia or something, like a local postcard which I could then send home for each one.
Nice.
Yeah, which of course I had a good collection of it. I never actually sent any of them home.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
I sent them to my mum.
Hi, Mum.
Oh yeah, I smashed it last night.
Smashed the fucking granny out of it last night, Mum.
You wouldn't believe the group. Load of geezers. Load of very sweaty men.
Nice.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of female groupies in the dubstep times, I will say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sort of delved into... I had a little... I stuck my toe in the dubstep world with Pixel Fist. Yeah, I stuck my toe in.
So that was you and...
That
Mackie,
was me, Mackie, another guy called Lorne, and then we used to sort of stay put and used to sort of be in and do sort of bits and bobs, and then he sort of left and sort of doing his own thing. But primarily it was the three of us, and it was the same three that we did Slang Banger as well. That was us as well.
So what was that?
Slang Banger is like drum and bass.
Bell.
Yeah, Slang Banger's on program and stuff, but like a bit more stuff. So I've just basically it's more them. I'm doing kind of the engineering,
right? Okay,
more, rather than more sort of influence on the tunes. But yeah, Pixel Fist. We had it was cool, man.
Yeah,
it was cool. I mean, hand on heart, it wasn't. It never really, hit the buttons that drum and bass did for me. It was very much making it by numbers for me. It was,
right.
But it was cool. It was nice to do something different, and it just the scene just absolutely blew up from nothing.
Yeah.
And it was huge, and it overshadowed everything for a long time. But it still seems to be going though. There's still like we were just at Rampage.
Where's that?
That's the Belgium. That's the 2 day, 15,000 kids in over 2 nights. And that's drum and bass and dubstep. Right. And they were going fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like almost reinvented itself as Riddim now. Have you seen this?
No.
It's basically sounds like more simplified bro step. But I'm really probably sounding like an old fogey here, but fuck it. Okay. Probably guys out there shouting, no, it's not what it is! It's different!
Does it have a wobble?
Yeah, it's sort of got a more simple wobble, and it's a more like kind of steppy beat rather than being swung or anything.
Right, so a more 4/4 sort of kick snare arrangement
Yeah.
with like a more sort of.
Yeah, it's really obnoxious and very simple and kind of.
I was listening
I'm
to.
not in it.
Who
really.
was before us? Snails.
Right. Yeah.
Snails was before us, and it just he just. It was interesting to listen to some of the stuff.
Interesting.
Some of the bass.
Polite way of saying it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I appreciate the impact it has.
Yeah,
like I can do with all music, with heavy metal. To jump up. I can appreciate what it does. I appreciate the energy.
Yeah.
And the chaos that it can ensue, and I love that moment of it going crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever makes it go like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in it. I get it. It's just not my cup of tea. I have my little lane that I go in, but I can appreciate it all.
I like all those videos of like innovation in the sun, where they're all in a swimming pool and like Mr. Happy drops, and it's just like.
It's just carnage, isn't it? Yeah.
Insanity.
Don't turn the fucking wave machine. Like, don't turn the wave machine. Like, just like fuck. Yeah, crazy. It's amazing that tune still has the effect that it does. I mean, it's a great tune, but it's like the get out of jail card. Like,
yeah, it's useful just to have it there, just in case. It's one of those tunes that's like a sing-along tune that doesn't have any lyrics.
Yeah,
there's been a few of them over the years. X-Ray by Subfocus was another one.
That new Gov tune, Warning. That was a sing-along one as well.
Which one was that?
Dun, 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 dun. I'm sure that's it. I probably just murdered that riff. Sorry.
Do you remember like having to go into record shops and do that to find out what a tune was?
Yeah.
You go,
really
I heard this thing last night. It goes like,
Like really like pangy snap, pang.
Whoa. Like, yes, Dillinger. It's
Yeah.
God, there's probably tunes that I never found out what they were, and that haunts me in a way.
Yeah, I kind of pride myself in the fact that I've probably never written a tune that you could come along to. Oh no, maybe Ultron, a little bit like riffy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot many of my tunes that you could actually sing.
They're not karaoke, really.
Yeah, you couldn't really go. If you heard that one and do a little impression of it, it wouldn't really work. I'm quite proud of that.
Whether or not I could do Hooligan's Anthem, I don't know.
No. Yeah. Exactly. There's nothing.
So that was taken off the bootleg DVD of it, wasn't it? Because that had a different intro to the official one.
Yeah, man. If you're gonna do it, dude, you're gonna fucking,
you got to get it out quickly as well, because it was a bit of an arms race back in those days for like film sampling tunes.
Mate. It was and I that was another thing I kind of prided myself in.
Yeah.
That I was fucking on it.
You were.
I was on
an
it.
Alien versus Predator one, wasn't there? I think.
Warrior and the Serpent.
Yeah.
I went fucking in on that tune. like I love that tune still. For me, like there's some pieces that I spend a lot of time on, and that all that intro and all the stuff that I sample from it. Like for me, it was like I like recreating the film, like in my tune. Do you know what I mean? And kind of recreating the scenes and stuff. So yeah, I was fucking on it, man. I did Pandorum.
Oh yeah,
the whole Pandorum. The whole intro is basically the trailer.
Yeah.
Just chopped up and put into different segments, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you do any with Sin City samples?
No, I don't know. No, I liked it. I did all of the Aliens. I did Alien 3. Because for me, it was like I would do my tune for like, that's my tune for that film.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'd be like, I've done an AVP tune.
Yeah.
I've done an Alien tune. I've done a Predator tune. You know, and then when we started the Pixel Fist thing, it was like, oh yes, I can do another Predator tune. So we did a tune called Yauja,
right?
Which is YAUTJA or something. But that's the name of the species, the predators. That's their species.
Right. Okay.
That's what they're called.
According to who?
The internet, the world.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a geek on things like that. So yeah, anything like that. That was the driving force. I didn't know, and back then, no one, was making we weren't selling that many records, and big film people wouldn't really give a shit that and it was just like a free reign, and I loved it.
The only thing that I managed to ever do like really significant numbers of on vinyl were bootlegs. Like, I
Yeah.
did a bootleg of that Nancy Sinatra Bang Bang thing that was in Kill Bill.
Yes. Yeah.
Audio Bullies did a sort of
Yes,
pop
they
tune
did.
out of.
Yeah. I remember
But
that.
he did about like 3,000 units or something on that.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And then we did a few others on the sort of Bang imprint of bootlegs.
Troubleshoot was probably one of the best things. What we got to number 5 in the UK dance charts with that.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, in the dance
charts.
How were they compiled? Fuck knows,
knows,
okay,
man.
yeah.
Just
Mixmag
just
compiled,
remember getting a print out and just like, you're fucking number 5. And it
that
was
tune was huge.
It was just
though.
based on sales.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just based on
Yeah.
sales. So if you hit fucking big sales, you'd be like straight up the chart. So I don't think we lasted there more than a week. But
Do you know how many units it did?
I don't know what you needed to get to that level back
Yeah.
then. I don't know, but it shifted a lot.
Yeah.
We got paid fuck all as per.
Yeah, obviously.
As
So
per
it
was,
works.
was the fucking
Trying to get money out of distributors back in the day was like, that was drum and bass basically. That was half of the
well, not even
the job, just
not
trying to
even
get money out of
distributors,
anyone.
Just fucking despicable characters that that ran labels that felt that the fact that you got a release was fucking payment enough.
Yeah.
Which was a piss take really, but.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all karma, man. What goes around comes around. It's all karma,
I remember sort of accepting that, but then being like, I'd just like to know how many copies my record has sold. Like, I'm happy to accept that I'm probably not going to get any money.
Yeah.
But like, I'd just be nice to know that someone's buying it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just it left a very bitter taste in my mouth. That sort of treatment, and and then that's why after that I always vowed that I wouldn't get ripped off again. Do you know what I mean? Or not ripped off, but just like I would make sure that if there was a monetary worth from what I was doing, that I was going to get it, because I wanted to push what I was doing as far as I could, which was stop the day job and do this as a job.
Yeah.
That was it. So in order to do that, and in order to have a free mind that you can go in the studio and write tunes, you need to have your bills paid. Kids that just like, I'm going to become a musician. They don't have a job, and they're sitting there and they're like wondering why they can't fucking come up with a tune. It's because you're sitting there worrying about your bills. You need to get your shit paid.
Yeah.
Then go and write music and do.
Yeah.
It seems very boring and very apparent thing to say, but it's just the truth of it.
It's very hard to be creative when you're stressed.
When you're fucking worried about if your electric's going to be cut off, or you can't come up with that wicked bass line. You're not going to want to sit there and fucking go inside the machine with serum if you're worrying about, I ain't going to eat tonight.
Yeah.
So I sort of got my business hat on, you know what I mean? And in this sort of world, I think you need to have, in drum and bass or in just music, you need to have you need to be creative and talented, but you also to a certain extent have to have that business mentality as well, because otherwise you'll just get shat on.
Yeah.
People will just literally crawl over the top of you, kick you in the face, and see you later, and take what was probably rightfully yours. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, I don't know, with sales and stuff being what they are now, I think anyone getting into it will need to kind of certainly realise that you're not going to be making a living from selling anything, and that your living is going to be coming from doing shows.
Yeah.
And even then, man, you've got to be doing a lot of if you've got an agent and a manager, you've got to be doing a lot of shows to actually make enough money to live. Like, let's say you get up to the level where you can charge £1,000 a show.
Yeah.
Then your agent is going to take 20% of that, so you're down to 800. Then your manager's going to take 20% of that. Then you're down to 640. And then the taxman's going to take another 20% of that. Yeah. There's probably going to be £100 of associated costs with doing the show, especially if it's abroad.
Yeah.
Suddenly, your £1,000 show is a £400 show, and you're going to need 5 of them a month if you're going to, particularly if you're going to live in Brighton or London.
Absolutely, yeah.
Man, it's
a
hard
hustle.
out there for a pimp.
It's a hustle, man. It's a hustle, and I thank God that I got into it when I did, because I think if it was coming up now.
Well, it helps that you make very good records, Gareth.
Thank you.
That's definitely one part of the problem solved, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but there's so many talented people out there now. It's sort of, I don't know, like the computers and the stuff that you can get for it now, and it's just all in the laptop. And
Yeah, well, the learning curve's a lot less
it's
steep.
just months now instead of it being,
Yeah.
you know, years. You know,
Yeah.
I remember, I remember the day that we got an Eamon to high pass filter through the Emu, with without us touching the dial or doing anything.
Oh,
like,
we got it automated.
like automated to do that.
Holy shit!
we
In the Matrix.
So that means we'd actually chopped up and loaded the Eamon, arranged it in the MIDI page, and then actually applied a filter to it, and automation, and it worked. So when you have things like that, and you go from that to like you can do everything with, you know, and he's you know, like perfect example, like Signal, Jonathan Signal, who's making tunes from Holland. I think he's like 19, 20 years old, but a guy writes tunes like he's like 20, 25. Like there's a maturity about his tunes, you know. He just gets the drum and bass thing, and it's like that's when it's a real advantage that he's been able to get into music so quickly and have the tools that enable him to get what's in his head out. So because it's just he's smashing it, and it's like I don't think he's been doing it that long, like 2-3 years, you know, producing.
So then I've been really, really impressed about over, I guess, the last sort of 5 or 6 years, maybe not quite that long, but it is new producers' ability to nail a mix down really fast. Like you go, oh, you've been making tunes for a year, and frankly, your mix downs are better than mine.
Yep.
Like, do you want to fuck off?
Yeah.
Like Memtrix being a good example of that. Like, Jesus Christ! Like. Just mix downs are so good. I'm like, how long have you been making tunes for? Like, a year and a half or something like that. Like, oh, fuck off!
And there's
I've been doing it 15 years of my sound.
Yeah, and you look at their studio, and there's like no acoustic treatment. It's just like a tiny little desk with like 2 speakers like rammed up against the wall, like with a computer shoved in between, like just like busy, like hoarding over it, making tunes. But man, that's the beauty of it. I love it. But it is a whole bag of just fuck off when I get things like that. I'm just like, Jesus, like, just turn the computer off, and I'm just gonna go and watch Coronation Street.
Yeah, I did actually go through a stage of like actively avoiding listening to anything by Spore, Noisia, and a few others, because I spend so long like.
Yeah, Mephius is the new one now. Mephius he just makes me want to fucking stop.
Yeah. Just god, and just like I would make something and be really pleased with it, and then be like, oh, what new bits are out? Listen to something, just be like, oh, forget it.
Yeah,
like God, I'm gonna make house music for a few years.
Yeah, no, I suppose you have to realise that you know we all bring something to the table.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And it's mine might not be mixed down fucking Sonics, but you know,
well, it is. But that's part of.
But we bring something to something to the table, you know. So
I've always tried to like make stuff that has like character to it, like that has got like a record that's got a bit of personality, or
I think that's the secret,
a bit of humour in there.
That's the secret, I think, and I think a lot of people, especially when you're making kind of techie stuff.
Yeah,
and it can like really sound like a sample pack gone mad, and you know, like and
and just sound like a computer made it.
Yeah, you need to put something on it that's going to stand out. You know, like even if when you go back and listen to all the big sort of techie tunes, they've all got something that that they've got a hook. Yeah, whether you want to admit it or not, there's a hook there. Whether it's a vocal stab, whether it's a riff over the top of a distorted bass line, there's something there that you latch onto. And they're always the biggest tunes, man. Yeah,
like the advice that I give to people often who are just starting out, like who do like, you know, master classes or whatever, is if you think about when you go to a club, if you're in that club for 4 or 5 hours, it's particularly something like drum and bass or dubstep where people are mixing fast, you're going to hear 200 plus tracks and people are pissed. And you've got to think, what is it going to be about your track that a load of pissheads in a club who hear 200 records are going to remember about your track? Yeah. And when you start looking at it like that, you go, okay, I'm going to have to step things up a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me. It was like the tunes were always. It's like a living thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like you're giving birth to some dramatic like I'm giving birth to this creature, but it's kind of like it didn't exist before me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? This thing wasn't in the ether. It wasn't a thing until I made it a thing. So for me, it's like they are little things that are alive, and it's a personality. So
It's got Tamagotchi.
It has to have exactly. It's like it's its own little, but it has to have a little character and a little personality and something that makes that tune and that tune, and then that just sort of goes and joins the twisted family of the back catalogue. Do you know what I mean? And it's they're all sort of bastard brothers, all related to each other, and so.
It's like when you can hear a tune for the first time in a club and know who it's by.
Yeah,
that's when you've really. I mean, like there was never any question about when you heard a new Dillinger tune.
Yeah,
or or a new Pendulum tune.
You could hear it. You could hear it like I think Ben Ed Rush says it in the Metal Edge thing. Like you can hear a Dillinger thing from like the hi hats. Yeah, 4 bars of the hi hats. Yeah. Just a really thick, big hi hat. And just the way he would little vocal remix. Yeah, but that's just Carl. Like in the
so good.
I need this sample. I haven't got it. I fucking make it.
That's what I loved about those tunes. Like I was just imagining him doing them in the studio as well. Just but it made me very happy.
Yeah, like what's the one where he's like Bristol smashed it?
Oh, it ain't too loud.
Sheffield killed it.
Had to rinse it.
I love it. But it's the fucking truth, man. Him and that Valve sound system. Jesus.
Yeah. The funniest one for me was the remix of Nitrous. Son of Remix. Just like, why not?
Just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
But then it drops and you're like, oh, okay, all is forgiven. Like, it
doesn't matter. Exactly.
It doesn't matter at all.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
I'm looking forward to getting all those albums on vinyl to get. They're actually, because they weren't released on MP3 for ages, because I remember him he was like, I don't want my shit out on MP3, because MP3 is rubbish.
Yes.
But they're all on Spotify now. So.
Yeah. Well, MP3 is like, it's like when you see a word and you've taken all the vowels out or whatever. You just, do you know what I mean?
You can still read it. But
you can still read what the word says, but it's like losing a lot of information. And it's like that's why I always download the WAV. Yeah. If I'm getting tunes sent to me, or if there's a MP3 or WAV, I always download the WAV, and I always bounce my tunes out as WAV and send them out. Don't send MP3. Yeah. It's like you're cheapening yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like you're whoring yourself out. Like, oh, go on.
It's a little bit, isn't it? It's a bit like doing a painting and then taking a photograph of it and just like reduce the quality on it a little bit and then send it out
on your iPhone and go, no, that's how I want it to be seen. It's like, oh no, it's there's more to it.
Well, I like to get that sort of crunchy sound by uploading it to YouTube and then recording it off the YouTube at a lower quality. Yeah. Just to get that really nice, crunchy, lower bitrate sound.
Interesting story, now that you've said that. The drums to Warehouse.
Oh, really?
Were off a 182 MP3 rip off the radio.
Of what?
Of someone else's tune.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I can't remember whose tune it was. I probably can, but I'm not going to say. Answers on a postcard if you can recognise the kick and the snare and whose other tune was it in. It was a blatant rip. I did process it. I didn't just like take it. I did process it, pitch it slightly. Sure. Honestly, I promise.
Totally,
yeah.
It's fine. Full disclosure, sure.
But yeah, I heard it and just had it on and I was like, that's quite a cool kick and snare. And if you listen to Warehouse, the kick is just and the snare is that's it. So
was that on Freak or no?
That was the record that kind of took me after Resident Evil. It was the biggest thing that I'd done as audio. Yeah. It sort of took me up the sort of first few rungs of the ladder, if you like.
Was there a Panacea mix of it, or was it?
No, I did a VIP of it.
Yeah,
I did a VIP of it where I just doubled the length for the build up. It was long anyway. It was just fucking alarms and.
Was it on an EP? I'm trying to think.
No, it was backed with Destroyed, where I sampled Silent Hill.
Why am I thinking Mathis was somehow involved? Maybe I've just heard him play it a lot of times.
I can't remember.
I
don't think I've done tunes with Mathis.
Yeah, I'm just getting confused.
Yeah, I don't think. I think there was. No one remix because I didn't get the stems out.
I don't know, mate. I've taken a lot of pengers over the years. You know what I mean? It all starts to blend into one.
But yeah, good days, man. All the Freak days. Wow.
Yeah. So what's Dylan up to these days? I
think he.
Are they still doing therapy sessions? Or?
No, I think he's fixing motorbikes in Philly.
Yeah, as he do. It's natural progression, isn't it, from making Larry drum and bass?
Yeah, I think he just works on choppers now.
Yeah.
Gets tatted and smokes weed and fixes choppers. Right. I don't think he's doing a lot with music. I think there was I think there was tours organised for him, which he kind of let down a few people, and
The fuck is that?
Is that a doorbell?
Why the hell is there a bloody doorbell in here?
Hello?
Hello, come in.
Hello, come in.
That's almost certainly someone trying to get into the studio next door, but they can fuck off.
Oh, well,
I say that now, in a couple of minutes after the doorbell goes again, I'll go and let them in.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find someone else to let them in first, though.
No, so Dylan's fixing bikes and
Right.
but really good times, man, in them early days of therapies and
Yeah.
herbal on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
There it goes again.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ.
What do I do? Just keep everyone entertained.
Keep everyone red hot, all right?
Keep everyone bubbling.
Yeah, sing a song or something.
He's just answering the door, everyone. There's someone at the door. He's got to answer it. Everyone praise Danny Dyer. He's going to tell him that we're trying to do a fucking podcast.
Cheers, mate.
I hope you said to him that we're trying to do a fucking podcast.
I did. I wasn't quite as robust with my language. But yeah, tell them what time it is.
It's all right. I kept everyone supple and
Did you spit a few bars or something?
Yeah. A quick 16.
Yeah, nice. A hot 16. MCs, do you like them? Woo! No, I can all fuck off.
Yeah, no, I do. I like.
Some.
Yeah, I work a lot with Gary Too Shy.
Yeah.
And he's like the fucking general, like
of dark drum and bass.
when you're playing tunes that sound like that, you need someone that can kind of command the crowd a little bit. And, and when he says "fuck off," you feel like you're fucking off, And he's a fucking top boy, so you know, he's a good lad.
It's just like Foxy telling people to fuck off. Like they're dropping
fuck
DJ,
off.
fuck off, promoter, fuck off, rewind.
Yeah, I mean it's like anything, innit? If they're not talented and you can hear it quite clearly.
There's a few
and not confident,
There's a few art forms where unless you're really, really good, it's a total embarrassment. One of them is beatboxing.
Yeah.
Unless you're at Beardy Man level, don't do it. Just don't go there.
Yeah.
Another one is graffiti. Unless it's fucking amazing, it's horrendous.
It's just tagging.
Yeah, there's no in between.
No.
It's like some stuff you can get away with, like, it's okay. Like there are definitely, and an okay version is inoffensive. Yeah. But emceeing is another one, particularly for someone that likes to be very much on the mic. Yeah. Unless they're really good.
I tell you what, one thing I don't like MC voice.
MC voice.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
When they feel that they have to kind of alter their voice.
It's really funny when you speak to someone who does that and they've got a normal voice.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they just, as soon as they go, okay, my DJ.
It's fucking lame.
It's like it's the sort of equivalent of like the local radio presenter voice. And we've got another record coming up for you later, and we've got a phone call from Diane who's stuck in traffic on the A27. Okay, Diane. So hey, you're live on the radio. It's just
let's crank this one up, pop pickers. It's just not cool, man.
What's the sort of what's the history of like that MC voice? There must have been someone that sort of had that voice legitimately, and other people sort of.
I like his style and tried to bite. Just like fuck, he's got such a good voice. I need to try and copy him. I don't know. If there is, I don't know who the originator was.
Do you think
maybe it was fucking?
Could be Danny Dyer.
Maybe he's the man.
Do you think it's like the MC equivalent of the sort of like lispy gay voice that's it's the sort of more rugged drum and bass MC version of it? It's just,
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. But then that's how do accents and stuff like, how do regional accents start? I mean, I'm sure there's someone who can give us a really solid explanation of this sort of thing. Maybe,
I don't know. Yeah, like the proper Gloucester, Bristol kind of twang. Like how does it morph into that?
Yeah, it's an MC regional accent. It is.
Yeah, that's what it is. But no, MCs on a whole, like, because I've played venues where you can feel there's a bit of a disconnection. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would never want to step up and do Rampage without an MC.
Yeah.
Even though it's sort of, it seems the fashion now that DJs want to pick the mic up themselves.
Yep, very much so. I mean, I'm a bit of a. As soon as I've had a few drinks, I can be known to get on the mic.
Yeah. See,
Not in any meaningful way, just do a bit of shouting.
Yeah,
I love a bit of shouting.
Oi, oi, this is my new record, everyone, by the way. It's my new record.
People on Monday.
Yeah.
Go buy it, yeah.
That's fucking lame as well.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal opinion on it, you know.
Yeah, you don't go in for that, no.
Nah, man.
No.
When someone like,
you all right? Yeah.
They did it at EDC in Vegas, and they were like, "Oh, do you want a
yeah.
mic?" And I just sort of looked at him like he was fucking handing me like a dead fish. It was just like,
So it's just handing you a dildo.
yeah, it's like, what do you expect me to do with that?
Used-
It's just like, I think I just said to him, "I'm a DJ."
It's handing you a used flashlight. Hey, are you fucking kidding me?
Like, yeah. So, but I, I want to play tunes to people that want to hear me play tunes. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't need to feel that I'm converting everyone into an audio fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I do realise I'm going to lead the venue, and not everyone's going to like what I do.
Yep.
I'm cool with that. I can fucking live with it. It's not a problem.
Plenty of people not paying enough attention to even know it's you on the decks as well.
Yeah. You know, as long as there's those little pockets of appreciation that I can see when I look out, and I can really see that kid that's fucking just driven 3 hours to come and see me play, and he's wearing his t-shirt and he's fucking, you know, and he wants to have a little chat with me afterwards. That's the kiddie that I'm there for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and oftentimes like, I've done gigs where it's only those people and there's 10 of them and that's the only people in the club.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, well, I'm not playing now. I'm not playing 10 people. It's ridiculous. Give me my money. I'm going to go
start
home.
moaning.
Fuck off. They're the 10 people that came. Don't fuck them over.
They're the most important gigs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
They're the most important gigs because you know that those 10 people, your fans, you know, not your fan, but I hate even the word fan. If I'm honest with you, I find it.
Compared to disciples or
No, do you know what? I just feel uncomfortable with feeling that or saying that. It doesn't. I don't. It's not a word that I use. I don't. It's just people that appreciate what I do.
Yeah,
that's it. That's as far as it goes. I'm not better than fucking anyone. I just make tunes. That's it, and people like them. I don't need to have fans.
Yeah,
But you know, I find that word is thrown around a bit too much nowadays. But yeah, those shows where you got the 10 kids, they're the fucking shows that it's important to, you know.
Yeah, because you can still have a fucking great time in a room with 10 people that they're all there, really want to see you play and are really loving it.
Absolutely.
They're all then going to go out and when you do a good show, you talk to them for ages afterwards. They're out fucking proselytising for you, like telling everyone.
Yeah, and they won't hear a bad word said about you. You know, it's like talking with people after the show. You know, I've got no problem. You know, unless it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I've got to be up in 3 hours.
Yeah, for a flight. Yeah.
Then forgive me, but I'm gone.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm leaving. Like I don't want to talk. I just want to go and sleep because I've got a shit fucking journey. If I've got hours and I'm cool, I'll have a chat with you. As long as you're not a dick. If you're off your head on drugs or smash drunk, fuck off. I won't talk to you.
Yeah.
Because it's just we're not gonna. It's just gonna miss all the time. You know, we're just not gonna connect.
I had some funny people over the years, and particularly in Europe, just out of their mind on bills, like just repeating themselves over and over.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh god.
That's when that's when my patience runs a little bit, you know, and I can be sort of turn into a bit of a prick and you know tell people to go away and leave me alone. Or I just take myself out of the situation, which is the best thing. I just hotel mate and I go. Yeah. You know, and like I said, you know. I'm getting older as well, man. I can't fucking.
It's tricky.
I can't do the after parties.
Oh, God. I've never been.
I'm like, I need my 8 hours now, mate.
It's tricky when someone's telling you how much of an influence you've been on them, but they're also spitting all over your face.
Yeah, and
dribbling and it's terrible. Yeah, it's
like it's a really weird situation because you're like, thanks, but
like genuinely thanks, and I love you, but like I have to.
Just we're not on the same plane at the moment, but it's you know. It's cool, man.
Yeah, it's certainly not as bad as someone trying to MC in your ear.
Oh fuck, yeah, yeah. I've had people come up to me asking me, "Can I jump on the mic through the set?" It's just like, no. And then they're really upset.
Is your name on the flyer? No.
It's just like, oh, but I'm really good. It's just like,
that's not really for you to judge, mate.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really good.
Honestly, I'm really good. Let me do a quick 8 minutes. Like, I'm not anywhere a judge on MCs. Do you know what I mean?
I've had some real moments with terrible MCs over the years. Like, come to blows of Like
Oh, really?
in we used to do a night called Fallout at the Funky Buddha Lounge on the seafront, and we did have Resident Evil down at some point. I can't remember who came down.
Might have been Colin or Risk or Mackie.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
oh
remember.
man, this was like
it would have been years ago. Yeah, it
or
would have been
4 or something like that.
That's 15 years ago.
Yeah, 2004 sounds about right.
Makes me feel
But
really
yeah,
old, man.
in that club, there was the DJ booth is tiny, and there's like a door to sort of get into it, and there was a guy just sort of came in and picked up the mic and just started having at it, and he was horrendous. So I pulled the cable out, and it just escalated very quickly.
Wow.
And and then security and sort of dragged him out.
Yeah, I remember you used to get all like the rude boys that would come in, so you get like the crew of like the Moschino, cap, like what Saul Chaser like the matching like outfits, like the shirt trouser combo with the matching hat.
Were you going to say the Chase and Status look for a second there?
Yeah, but then I sort of no, I was going to say the look that Saul's kind of pushes, that vintage Moschino. But yeah, sort of backtracked a little bit. But the vintage Moschino look, you know what it's like every rave you'd go to, and you get those guys like doing that sort of dance around their cap. Do you remember that?
It's fun to hold the hat.
Like they'd hold the peak of the cap and then sort of
5-panel hat,
sort of twist their feet around and sort of it was a bit of a funny dance with their TNs on, white TNs with pin rolled Moschino trousers.
Very nice.
Yeah, with the cap, and then you get a crew of them, and they'd be like little dogs in like little packs.
Yep.
Like MCs,
and
it's because there's like 15 of them. They think they're going to intimidate you, because it's like, oh, we'll fuck you up, mate. He's bad, mate. He's bad. Let
him on.
Yeah, sovereigns and weed everywhere. It's just like, oh fuck, and everyone's smelling the fucking jupe. It's like, oh fuck off. Do one.
Oh god, hilarious. I had another situation at the Pressure Point. This is going back some years now, where there was a setup for a band on the stage that just hadn't been cleared away, and the DJ booth's over the other side of the room at this point, up high. And some guy just jumped up there, saw that there was a mic, and for some reason it was turned on. And I didn't have access to turning it off because it was going through the main system.
Oh, fuck, it bypassed you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And man, he was so terrible, and he was really out of time, and... on an old hard drive somewhere, there's actually a recording of it, but I just slowly just faded it down, and he was still like, hey, blah, 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 and then he sort of like, he sort of runs out of steam, just looks up, and I'm just like shaking my head, and like, no, and he's like, what, mate? And I was like, no, put it back.
And you've got to shout louder. You're like, no, stop.
Like, mate, bruv, but no, not playing any more records until you put it down.
What, down here? It's like, yes, down.
Back on the stand. That's it. Off. It's like a dog that's like looking at a tree. You're like, nah.
Yeah, it doesn't know
what. Sit. Back in the crowd.
Brilliant.
I'm sick though, bruv. You're not. Go away.
Yeah. But no, MCs, they're
an essential part of the scene.
Absolutely.
I give them a very hard time, but I'm.
No, I would.
Yeah.
I've had some, and they definitely elevate the set.
Yeah.
The right MC, the right place with the right DJ. It can be fucking amazing.
I mean,
amazing.
Having plenty of time seen, Skibber just leap up and just make an entire room of thousands of people just fucking lose the plot.
And I remember seeing him like back bar Ramba days, and he used to turn up, and him and Brocky and him and Det used to go back to back, obviously from the Cool FM days.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, man, just vibe central, like just goosebumps thinking about it,
Yeah. Man, they can smash it. They certainly can.
Yeah.
So you and Ben are smashing it now.
Well, we're having
in
fun,
my
man.
humble opinion.
We're having fun, man, and that's what the whole thing was about, and that's why it started. I've been on my own doing tunes for a long time, done loads of bits. Obviously had a history with Virus from doing albums for them.
Did you do 3 albums for them?
Yeah,
2?
Three albums.
Just a cheeky 3 albums,
just a
mate.
little trilogy.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do a trilogy. That's why I could have stayed there after I did Force of Nature, but it felt right to sort of...
Well, so I just do some stuff on RAM as well. Why not?
Yeah, man. I had the opportunity, and if I think anyone was in that position, I'd put it to them that, you know,
I would. Just saying, I would.
Would you know? Would you not do it? Like I had, you know, I did 3 albums on Virus and was sort of, you know, had a history with them, and then I had the opportunity to go and do it for Ram.
Yeah.
You know, it was and that was the only driving force. Even though as soon as I went to Ram, everyone was like, "Oh, are they telling you what to write?"
Does it sound like they're telling you what to write? I mean,
I thought that, but I think I sort of always forget that people sometimes just want you to write the same thing again and again, and if you do anything slightly different,
it's weird, isn't it?
they fucking they stone you.
But they give you hassle for writing the same thing again and again. That's what I have found.
Yeah,
But then you do something different. Like, oh no, you do something different.
Yeah, it's, you know, like if I feel that if I was writing the same tunes I did 20 years ago, I've wasted 20 years of my life because I've not experienced anything. I've not progressed. I'm not on a journey, man. I'm on a fucking journey.
It feels like there's...
That's it. You want to get on and enjoy it, come along with the ride. You want to get off, go. Like, it's not a fucking, you know, it's just music.
It feels like there's a lot more emphasis on, like, for me, like impressive sound design in, like, particularly in the synths and in the basses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
it's getting there now. Yeah.
Like, the rawness of the sort of Resident Evil stuff was, I don't know... like the drums were a really major factor in the sort of thundering ridiculousness of all of that.
That was me. See, like Colin Risk with a W was the synth man. So all those melodies, like troubleshoot melodies and like the arpeggios and the the chord progressions were all him.
Right.
Like he was like, we'd find a sound and he would just, you know, he went to college for music and he had a much more musical brain than me, but I could get fucking drums rolling. Yeah, you know, I could layer up a Trayman and get it fucking smacking. So that was the nice thing of when the worlds came together. That it was like the nice stuff, and then when it dropped, it was like a wall of sound.
Yeah, I used to have a Trayman in most tunes back in the days. So funny that it was Dom and Roland who made.
I think Dom made the break.
Yeah, and it was on Sonar, wasn't it? The first.
Yeah, Dom made the break. From what I understand from Dom, because it's been explained before, he made the break, had it sitting there. Trace came round to do a tune, and he said, "I got a break."
Yeah,
and they threw it in there, and then Sonar turned into Sonar.
Man, what a break though!
Yeah, I think it was like it's the flow break. Is it Paris flow break? And a pitch down at Eamon from a hardcore record. I think that's the layers that gives you that sort of the low rattle in the shuffle. Yeah, it's like a sort of it's very hard to describe, but yeah, I think that comes from the pitch down Eamon, and
it's about as intense as drums get, really.
Yeah, it's a fuck off break.
Yeah,
it's a real fuck off break. It was like the next thing after the Eamon was just like there's nothing that can touch the Eamon. Like when he's lashing, it's like, oh yes, there is.
Oh man, like I'm just trying to think of like what are the best Amen tunes, like just straight up use of Amen. Like I do think it is hard to beat that Breakage So Vain track in terms of just utter simplicity of Amen bass stab.
Fade to Black, Lemon D. That's a rhythm. Yeah. That So Vain. Bring the Ruckus, bit of Tech Itch is fuck. That Wolf Amen. I mean, I've got the Wolf Amen from doing a tune like he sent it to me, so I've got a loop of it, and it still sounds ridiculous now. It is, but you just can't. I can't throw it in a tune because it's Wolfie's Amen. Yeah, Tech Itch's Amen. If I put it in, it's like, oh, you use Tech Itch's Amen, even though it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Do you mind if I just
Mark,
just pop that?
But the processing on it still sounds cool now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like really crunchy and fucked. You'll know listen to any Tech Itch record on Penetration, and you'll know the Amen.
Yeah. What was the other one there? That Contamination break that was in like those other ones that was really oh god, I've got them all, like loads of them on an old computer that none of the fucking USB drives on it work, and it won't connect to the internet.
There's a couple. There's a couple that are in the Dr. X player that come with Reason.
Really?
Yeah. There's two that he's used. The one off I've Come For Your Souls. Remember that one?
Yeah.
The heart. That fucking love that tune.
Yeah.
That vocal. Those breaks off that are in Reason.
No,
Never heard them anywhere else. It was only in Reason. Yeah.
I remember spending a lot of time playing with Rebirth back in the day when it first started, because it had a 909 in it and an 808, and you could just go to town on it.
Yeah, I did my first ever tune. I did with a mate. I used to go around his house, and he had like a little hardware set up, a little Akai, and we wrote a tune. We're like, we're going to make a tune and cut it to plate. So I think it's about 8.5 minutes long. Yeah, and it's called Abyss. And the idea was that sort of from the length of it, every 2 minutes, it sort of went down a level, sort of thing, and something changed. But yeah, it was, and the whole bass line was sort of a Rebirth bass line, like a little sort of pulse of something like low pass. But we thought it was brilliant.
God, my dad still has. Whenever I when I first started, whenever I made a tune, I would burn it to CD and give it to my dad.
Oh,
this was like, I mean, so he's got loads of them, like from when I was like started making them. I was like about 15 on my mum's computer, which I mean they're just insane. Like you could never. Like, release it.
You've got to do a show where you just play them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was actually going to bring down?
Shit.
I was going to bring down my first ever release. I was gonna bring it down on plate, like the vinyl.
Oh really?
'Cause I've still got this Abyss tune that you can.
Really?
Yeah, I've still got it.
Oh god, I've got a dub plate somewhere of tunes from a couple of years before my first vinyl release.
Yeah.
There's one which is just a sort of Reese Trayman ridiculous thing called LAPD, which has got me and some friends pretending to be American police officers shouting like, "Get down,
officer
nobody
down.
move!"
Officer down.
Like, stay where you are, put your hands in the air. And then just like a load of
shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah, it's got a load of sort of samples of like the some police radio before it. I mean, you can imagine,
mate. We've all put police radio in the tune.
Yeah,
we've all been there. I've gone, yes, this sounds great.
Yeah. The other one is also like radio of like astronauts and stuff. Everyone's had a go on that at some point.
Yeah.
Oh God, I remember being at like music. I was at music college for like a year, and everyone without fail had done something with an astronaut. In it, like it was a sort of rite of passage.
It's otherworldly, isn't it?
It was funny. We did a year of like learning how to use Akai and EMU samplers.
Was that in Brighton? You did that
in Northbrook in Worthing,
right?
And it was like the last year that anyone used any of that stuff ever, and people just immediately. And then suddenly the DAWs actually just had stuff built in, and no one ever used that equipment ever again.
Yeah, we all the Resident Evil stuff was hardware. So all the bass lines were like from the virus. We had an access virus.
One of the first ones.
Yeah.
Without the VST thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it was just a.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I had the first one, which was red with the wood edges.
Yeah.
It was just a desktop sort of the module.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I think Risk got the one with the keyboard on it. I can't remember. It's years ago, man. I can't remember. But yeah, all that stuff came from the hardware, and then we used to rewire Cubase with Reason.
Okay, yeah. I remember that.
So then I would write all the drums in Reason.
Right. Okay. Why not?
So that's how it worked for a lot of time, and then obviously when I sort of started going off on my own, and the hardware thing kind of started dying, I was already sort of compos mentis with the sort of in the box process, and I started on Acid 1 Pro. Yeah. That was my first ever release. Defrag on G2 was done on Acid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started making stuff by making loops in Fruity Loops 2 or 1 or 3 and bouncing them out and arranging them in Acid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Acid had such great time stretching capabilities, man.
Yeah,
everything,
it did, yeah.
It would just fucking loop anything.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't, I don't know how the algorithm worked, whether it found transients within the audio file. I don't think it was that fucking advanced back then. I think it was like, this is how big it is, and that's where you wanted to fit it. It was like, it mathematically just crunched it down, and like some of the loop points and some of the loops you get were so fucking interesting. Like, I really miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very easy to use and just quick to get stuff out.
I can imagine Ableton, when people say Ableton with its time stretching. Yeah, that's how I imagine it. It's like it's got those sort of harks back to the Acid kind of.
What do you use now?
I use Studio One Personas.
I thought so. Yeah. You. Who else uses that? Like
Ben.
Yeah.
I was doing stuff in Reason. I did the first album. Genesis Device was done.
Right.
Pretty much all in Reason. And I just felt like I needed like the sound engine. It was just narrow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It really didn't feel like my stereo field was very wide. And it just felt like there was a reason sound.
Yeah,
people talk about
I've
it. You know,
always,
there's a sort of sound to it.
There'll be some Reason boys out there now screaming.
No, there's fucking not.
It's just a black and white sound engine. It's not coloured in any way.
Yeah, but there is.
Yeah,
there is the way, or the way it deals with sound, the way it routes sound through it.
Summing of it all.
There's definitely something when you would put it through that 16-track desk. There's something, you know. Even though, like, I would have a desk for breaks, a desk for bass, I would split it all up and try and divide it all up to try and get a bit more headroom and not sort of clutter things through the same desk. But yeah, I fucking love Reason, man. So yeah, and then what was Hive told Ed Rush, suggested, he was like, have you seen his Personas? Brand new, like, you should get the demo, you'll like it. Yeah. And then Ben told me, he was like, I know you're looking for something. Hive sort of saying, like, you know, it looks really cool, like, try it out. And I did, and I loved it. Right. It was just very intuitive, very sort of drag and drop.
Free?
No. Oh. No, I think I think it was like, it's 300 quid, whatever it was. But I ran a demo for ages, and then it was like, fuck this, I'm just going to buy it. Right. Yeah, and just haven't looked back. So, but then I needed to learn the whole world of, like, external VSTs, because I'd never used them before. It was like I'd only used what was in Studio One. Yeah. In Reason, sorry. Like one distortion, one reverb, one delay, one this. So it sort of harks back to that hardware situation where you would really, ideally in the studio, only have one sampler or one of these and one of them. Yeah. So when sometimes you're restricted with what you have, you get more out of it. Yeah. You learn that shit fucking a lot better. And sometimes you can get really, when you have everything, you can sometimes, you know, I've been with producers where it's taken them 5 minutes to decide on what reverb they're going to use from a list of reverb VSTs.
Just put the Ableton one in.
Just put the fucking reverb on and know the reverb, so know it, that you can create the vibe that you want, a big reverb, a small plate, or, you know, whatever, you know. So I've always gone on from that school. So even now I only have, like, I use Camel Fat and Saturn and, like, 2 distortion units, 2 reverbs, I've got 2 delays. You know, it's just, I find if you minimise it, you get more out of the stuff.
I've heard you just get Rankin audio packs and just run them through sausage fattener, and that's that. That's nice. The rumour that I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but it's true that it is a rumour. You know.
There might be a few Rankin sounds in there.
I've also heard rumours that to do your mixdowns, you've got a load of kids, like, chained up in a little sweatshop out the back in the garage.
Yeah. I've just like Memtrix is one of them. Yeah. Caged up there. That's why you haven't heard any change from him. He's disappeared, hasn't he? He's in my fucking. He's mixing my snare down now.
Memtrix, if you're listening, tweet for help.
Yeah, they got young ears, though, man. That's what I put it down to as well.
Yeah, like, that's it.
That's what me and Ben Ed Rush were like. Fuck them. They're fucking young. They've got fresh ears. Our ears are battered.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe that is true. Like, but
yeah, I think it must have an effect, man.
There's so much more, like, information out there now of how to information out there of how to, you know, to do stuff, like how to do, you know, mix down techniques and all this sort of stuff. I didn't even have the internet when I started making tunes, and there certainly wasn't any, like, I had, like, 2 mates that were also having a stab at it, just, you know, pissing about. Yeah. Also learning to DJ at the same time on Belt Drive Sound Labs.
Yeah, I had Belt Drives to start with.
Belt you have to sort of rub it with a feather.
That's real fucking DJ, mate. That's real DJ, because if you touch that bitch too, it stops.
Yeah,
it's like,
just stop. Like,
it's like, you know how unpredictable an elastic band is? Yeah. Welcome to the world of Belt Drive decks. It's like...
At a house party with people spilling drinks all over them and on some rickety table. Yeah. Right. But there'll be loads of coins on top of you.
But there's a little crew of geezers in the corner, like, secretly really fucking studying what you're doing, like, making sure that you don't fuck up. So you're like...
Yeah. Well, I just had to do something to get girls, so, you know, DJing was that thing. Yeah. Didn't have the patience to learn an instrument.
God, I remember the day I got Technics. It was my 16th or 17th birthday?
You lucky boy.
Yeah, no, my dad stood guarantor. So I'd left school. It was 16. It was 16 because I'd left school. I was out. I left as soon as I could. Went into work, and my dad stood guarantor for him. Yeah, it was £1,000 that I financed for 2 decks.
They're fucking 1,200 quid each now.
Are they really?
New ones, yeah. 1,200 quid each.
Fucking hell. Yeah. I've still got mine at home.
Yeah, I bought some off a friend's older brother for like 500 quid for the pair or something, or
Yeah.
maybe even less than that. Maybe it's like 350 for the pair.
Oh no, no, mine are not the original pair because I had the black ones, the Mark Twos,
Yeah.
and my mate had the silver ones, the Mark Ones, and I always
1200s,
Yeah, I wanted
yeah.
the 1200s, and I swapped them with him.
Right.
And then a week later, his house got robbed, and all they took were the decks and his records. And you know what? They even flicked through the records and put some back.
Oh, that is hideous.
Yeah. So they took all his shit, my old decks, his decks, and then cherry picked what vinyl they wanted to steal.
Oh God! As a mate of mine in Berlin, he's living in Neukölln, had his studio in one of his like a spare room, and some kids broke in to the window, went into his studio, and all they took was an iPad, and they left 808, 909. And a load of other like ridiculous things. Like they're like $3,000 or something in 808 now. It's like all in that immaculate condition. It's like these kids don't understand. Kids these days.
Does it have touchscreen?
Yeah. It's just like what you can shift quickly and like
No,
just
I've been blessed.
clambering over thousands of pounds worth of gear to nick a 300 quid iPad.
Yeah, we had our studio was in the same place. It was like an industrial estate where we lived. Town called Red Hill, and we were just lucky that my mate used to work on the industrial estate, had a relationship with the guy who sort of ran it, and there was a space in the loft of this guy who used to make mirrors and stuff, and above him there was a loft space, no windows, no one really wanted it, perfect for a studio, and we were there 18 years.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, we had that place from when I was a kid, basically. We moved in there and just had a studio, and it was always like, let's have a studio. And the little crew that we was in, was all kind of worked together and made it nice. Put the wood floor down, painted it all, and it was like a man cave,
Yeah.
Like periodically, people would you walk in and someone slept there because they'd had a row with their wife and stuff. It's
Nice.
like, oh, all right. Like,
Poking with a stick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, we were really lucky, and I think the fact that we're not, I don't live in London, that we could find places. I do sympathise with people that live in London, and they're like 250, 300, 400 quid a month just for a tiny little studio space. It's just
Well, I'm looking forward to moving there in a month or two.
Yeah, enjoy.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, for making drum and bass now, I'm just laptop and a pair of headphones will do me, and then maybe find somewhere
just reference it somewhere. Spectrum analyzers help a lot nowadays, man. You can kind of get really, really quite far into the ballpark of where you need to be. Yeah. With a pair of headphones and a good spectrum analyzer that
Maybe I'll learn how to use one of them then.
Do you not use?
I just anything like
just to get an
really
idea of level wise. Yeah.
Is anything super technical? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not really. It's just some LED lights displaying
stuff,
levels.
Just levels. Yeah.
But it's just an idea of listen to something that you like and you've heard and it sounds impressive.
Yeah, I guess so. But then I do that and I think, my thing sounds crap compared to that. Like put a spore track in there or a sub focus track in there just to let's listen to how it really properly should be done. Looking like, wow, that's a mess. Yeah. No, I should do. I feel like I've caught. Contracted the sort of millennial attention span when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, as I'm getting older, I have to force myself to sort of stay there and sort of work through things. If you come across a problem or something that's a bit more challenging, where before I would sit there for hours and to be fair, my studio's now moved from this place where I'd have to drive 10 minutes to go to. There was no internet there. There was nothing else there. So you either mixed. There was decks that you either had a mix or you did tunes. Yeah. Where now I'm at the comfort of my own home. So I can just walk out of my studio and go into my kitchen, make a cup of tea, go and see my kids. My kids can run in. Yeah. There's Netflix, Wi-Fi. Yeah. So it's like I'm there a lot, but I'm not actually doing tunes a lot. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite distracted now. Yeah. which I thought it would be I thought it would be the opposite. I thought I would be like really like focused because it's at home, but it's not. I'm really distracted.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, really.
Yeah.
Working at home.
I'm just adjusting because, like I said, I spent 18 years in this place, going there solely to write music.
Yeah.
And now I've got it on my doorstep. So it's just a different mindset, I think.
So have you just built some speaker stands out of old trainer boxes? Just all like sort of stacked
Segued
up.
into the trainers. I like what you did there, dude. I love it. I was like waiting for the trainer, and he linked.
I came onto the trainer chat in a bit.
Linked straight into there. Nice. I like it. No,
I'm becoming a pro, mate.
I like I like it. No, I've sort of converted
second garage for it.
No, I don't need a second garage yet for the shoes. They are in the studio, but I've got most of the dead stock ones. Dead stock is, if you don't know, stuff you don't wear.
Right.
So that's the term DS. It's dead stocked. So it's brand new, but you've never worn it.
Oh, okay. Right. So
But it's never been pond foot outside. And obviously worth more money than something that's been worn.
So is there stuff to be bought as sort of an investment in a way?
Yeah, that's that's kind of 50-50 of what I've bought and why I bought it and
right.
The ones that I did buy. I love trainers. I have a fetish about shoes, which started back in the day. Like my mum and dad were like, I'd perhaps get like, my dad was like older generation and from like Wigan, Lancashire.
Right, okay.
So like proper fucking northern,
Man, life was rough in Wigan back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. So my old man sort of bought me a pair of shoes and expected them to last sort of 9 years. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and they had to look fucking immaculate. And what he'd do, he was a fucker as well. God bless his soul. He would buy me a fucking pair of shoes and then go, "They're for your holiday. You can't fucking wear them." He's like, "What?" He's like, "You can't wear them till your holiday. I want to keep them nice till we go away." And so I'm like, "Okay, Dad." And then I'm sitting there like bust. So I'd sneak out in my shoes and like clean the bottoms of them and sort of, so the fetish sort of started.
Right, I guess,
there.
Yeah.
Because obviously I wanted to show off, and my old man was like, "High-techs, you can have a pair of fucking high-techs," and it was just like, I'm actually dying inside,
Yeah.
So now that I can buy my own shoes, I bought I did. I think if most trainer collectors are like that, they buy all the stuff they didn't get when they was a kid.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, I bought. I'm certainly nowhere near the level that you are, but I do really like having nice trainers.
Like the Ultra Boost, mate.
Man, they're just unbelievably comfortable as well.
Amazing
It's
shit.
just another world. And so I just thought, I'll get the Reebok pumps. Like I always wanted them as a kid.
Yeah,
get them as an adult. They look fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
I've got bright red ones. They look like lifeboats on my foot, size 11. It's absurd.
That's fucking balling, man. Like I had first pair of trainers. They were £59. I remember convincing my mum to get them. They were Reebok Hexagon.
Right.
So it had like a little hexagon sort of hole in the bottom with like squidgy stuff in. It was like, I haven't got Nike, but I've got Hexagon. So I'd roll them down to middle school. It'd be like, I've got Hexagons. Then my pal would fucking bowling with the Reebok pumps on. He was always a bit of a spoiled fucker. He'd get everything. So I would used to have the envious eyes, and then going to secondary school, I always remember like the 90s, the Air Max 90 coming out the infrared, the original, the orange. And that's the days when kids would like chippy jeans, Chevignon jumpers, pin-rolled your trousers into Argyle socks with the infrareds on. It was like the whole look. Do you know what I mean? And Benetton bags.
Yep.
Like it was the whole thing. So I just coveted them. I just looked at them and never had them. My mum would like, "Fuck off, I'm not buying them. Like too expensive." So like now I just buy all the stuff. I just want all the shoes. So it started with Virgil Abloh's, who runs Off-White, which is a designer clothing brand, did a collaboration with Nike. And it kind of blew my brains what he did with the 10. He basically took 10 shoes and completely reconstructed them.
Right.
Took them apart. Kind of made them look like they're prototypes in a way that they're not finished, but they are. And it's just really fresh approach. Because most people that collaborate with trainer people, like with Nike, they just put their fucking logo on it.
Yeah.
They'll have a colour. They'll put their colour on it. And then a logo or a writing where he actually completely redesigned the shoe.
Those are the ones where it's sort of there's stuff written on it that's
on the side of every shoe on the inside you've got off-white icons reconstructed and the date and stuff, and then they come with the red tag that all his shoes come with.
Right.
So it started with that. I sort of saw them, was like, I'm gonna, I'd bought stuff before that, but I was like, I need to have all 10. I need to have every one of them.
Did you get them all?
Yeah, I've hunted them all down. But the one that I've got the Converse. The Converse is not out. He did the Chuck Taylor. The Chuck Taylor, like the black and the white Converse Chuck Taylor, like the standard Converse, standard Converse boot.
Yeah.
He did one of them because they're a subsidiary of Nike.
Converse. Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was originally supposed to come out with a tick on it as well. Not many people know the Converse, the off-white Converse is supposed to have a tick. But Nike were like, no, it's too many brands on one shoe. It's like off-white Nike Converse on one shoe. It's it's whatever. So they got rid of it. So I got a sample pair of them, and they drop in May. So yeah, I've got all 10 of them.
So do you need to get onto like some sort of special list or something to get stuff before it gets into shops?
I mean, some of them I paid resale for, but I paid good resale for. So like resale is obviously when the kid's queued up or won a raffle and sells them on and makes a bit of profit.
Yeah, I'm not imagining you sat outside size at 3 a.m.
No, fuck that.
You should do what I did, just go to Vietnam, get 35 quid off market, pair of Yeezys.
Yeah, I did actually. I have got a pair of
Vietnam Yeezys.
I got a pair of fake. I got the off-white Jordan, the red Chicago Jordan he did. I really love it, but like the shoes now to buy is probably 1,500 quid, 1,800 quid to buy the shoe. So I'm not gonna fucking wear that. So I bought £100 fake.
Just to wear out.
Just so I could wear it, because I was like, what, I don't give a fuck, because I can show people that I have all 10. Like I've done, like I'm good. Like, so I just bought the fucking So I ragged the fake pairs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice. That's a smart move.
So they're kind of like an investment. It's like a modern day, like it's like having a cellar full of wine.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's like the same. Yeah. It's the same sort of thing. Like if I can, like, stop the temptation of wearing them and just keep them dead stock. Yeah, there's an investment there.
That is tricky. I mean, it's a little bit similar with buying modular stuff.
Yes.
Like I've ploughed so much fucking money into modular over the years. Back when I was had some time making house and techno for a bit while I was in Berlin, because you have to make house and techno when you live in Berlin.
Of course,
it's the law.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the tenancy agreement.
Yeah, they kick you out after 6 months if you've not started
a
modular
music
techno.
at 120 BPM.
Yeah, sorry, you have not started modular techno project.
Sorry, German people, that was an awful German accent.
It's sort of Dad's Army style. Like, you have not made any techno.
Yeah, sorry, apologies.
But a lot of, because they're all made in limited numbers. Well, a lot of them from the smaller brands are made in limited numbers, so you can hold on to it and. And then sometimes use it for a few years, and then sometimes sell it for more than you bought it. Yeah. There's the old sort of joke, which a lot of I think it's the same joke for lots of different sort of collectors stuff. Is like the fear is that your wife will sell your collection for what you told her you paid for it.
Yeah. Yes.
I sold all your modular. I got a good price. 200 quid. Yeah. Like, no.
Yeah. My wife was she had a problem with it until she watched a program about the prices of shoes and what they're going for now, and like there's an app called StockX, which is run from out of Detroit. I think Eminem owns quite a big portion of it.
Oh, really?
And it's a stock exchange for shoes, basically. So it's like an app. So I can go on there, I can put in a shoe's name, it'll bring up all its details, it'll tell me what the most it sold for, what the least it sold for, what the fluctuation is on the market.
It's a little bit like Discogs does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like a really cool place, and you can buy stuff, you can sell stuff. So it's a real industry, like we were talking about before. Like there's kids that make money off flipping shoes.
Yeah.
Like that's all they do. Like I'd speak to them if I can't get shoes anywhere else. I've got a couple of people that I'll hit up and go, I need this shoe. And they'll get it.
Yeah, there's a guy that I used to do jiu-jitsu with. He doesn't train anymore, but I came in a few pairs, and he was like, those are going for like. Even worn are going for like more than you'll have paid for those. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've just by accident gone into size on the day they've come out.
And had a result. Yeah, I mean that's you know, if you can get stuff for retail, that's the dream, you know, because obviously everything you're making on top of that's profit. But
I'm not a massive fan of the sort of new Nike, like the 97s that those sort that all the millennial kids are kind of wearing with their retro looking sportswear.
yeah, I've got
Like I'm a massive Air Max lover, but those I don't know, they just look like people who I don't know do bumps of ketamine in clubs.
Yeah,
Smell a bit like
Air
coins.
Air Max 1, the 90.
Yeah, the 1 and the 90.
They're my faves. They're my faves. The 90 is my shoe. Like the 90 is the one I've got the most pairs of.
Girls in Air Max 90s.
It's lovely.
It's,
Yeah.
To be honest, you could put a badger in a pair of those Air Max 90s, and I'd probably fancy it.
97s not so much. I've got like the Grail 97s that you like, the silver bullets, the golds. I got the Skeptors. I got the country camo pack.
They look like
I got the undefeated. I got the ones that you need to have for them ones, but obviously now the 97s are there, they were celebrating 20 years, 2017. That's why we got the recurrence. So now now it's the 98.
Okay.
So now you'll see all the 98s that are coming in. They've just dropped the Gangnam and the grey and yellow, and so any collaboration now will be pushing the 98 because basically they change all the toolings on the factories.
Yeah.
So they make all the bottoms, and it's like, right, we're making a 98, and we'll
send the new batch of kids in to change them all.
So 98 is not my shoe. It's not my. I don't like it at all. I'm not into the Air Max 98.
Oh, I can't even think off the top of my head what's.
It's got the whole the full the air unit at the bottom, like the 97. But out of the two, I prefer the 97.
No, I'm not a fan of these. They look like they belong at the bottom of a Urban Outfitters mannequin.
It's just like what I just didn't grow up coveting them. I grew up coveting the 90, and for me, the 90, the silhouette of the Air Max 90, doesn't actually fucking get any better. You know, it doesn't.
That's the most iconic sort of archetypal sneaker.
And Air Max 1's cool. It's
that
like
and
the
shell toe,
it's
really,
the first time they did the airbag. It's cool, but like the 90 feels like they fucking nailed it. Do you know what I mean? Like they really smashed it.
Yeah.
So and I'm still I still love the fact that I'm walking on a cloud of air. You know, it's like it was a technology that is like a visible air bubble. You know, like it's So trainers are a big part, and then Adidas. Yeah, someone suggested Ultra Boost, and I was like, never an Adidas fan before.
Last couple of years, they seem to have really smashed it out of the park,
killing it.
Although, according to the guy in size I spoke to a couple of days ago, he's saying that like its sales for Adidas have really dropped off.
Yeah, I think everyone's waiting because everything they're doing now is like super exclusive.
Right.
So you haven't even got a fucking chance. So it's like you either like all the Human Races, which are Pharrell Williams collaboration with Adidas. You know, resale for them is like 300, 400, 500 quid. You know, you're gonna have if you want one, you're gonna have to queue up to get. You're not gonna get it on drop day unless you're queuing up. Same with the Yeezys. It's they're like fucking gold dust. The Yeezys to get. It's ridiculous. I only have pairs because I managed to get on a raffle and I won the raffle, and that's the only way.
Really?
Yeah. I'd never actively went out to seek them. I just was lucky and I won them and I got them for retail, so it was a result.
It was a raffle where you still had to pay.
Yeah.
Right,
No, all these raffles so like the Off-White, for instance, pure example, they've just dropped 2 new colours of the Vapor Max, a black and a white. So all the big shoe companies, the big ones, did a raffle, but that raffle is just for you to buy it.
Right.
So they're so limited in numbers that they say they are. Could be clickbait, could be bullshit. But it works. It gets the kiddies queuing up at fucking 7 o'clock and entering the raffles. I never win a raffle ever, apart from for the Yeezys.
Right. There's a company that does that with jiu-jitsu guys called Shoya Roll. They basically they do a release at a certain time. You can get it on the website at a certain time, and it'll generally sell out in about an hour or something. So you can either just like be there waiting to get it, or for each release they have like if you share and comment in the Facebook post, then they'll pick one person of it. But like, and then they're just on eBay the next day for like 2 or 3 times the price.
Yeah,
and they're nice geese, but they're wacky fucking sizes sometimes. So like, I remember waiting about a month for mine to arrive from America, and it's just like, this is enormous. I look ridiculous. And then like just having it go through the bloody dryer enough times to try and
Shrink it
in,
down,
and it's slightly weird shape, and it's just like feel like you're rolling in just ludicrous pajamas, more so than normal.
I mean, like, you know, and it's like that whole kind of world. I mean, like kids do it for Supreme as well. Like I don't get it for fucking Supreme, like or just the box logo, like.
Yeah,
they'll
just
go
stick
for
a
like
Supreme sticker on a turd.
They'll go for like
30
fucking
quid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like people try and justify like, oh, they did, you know, like, oh, they put it on a brick because it was like representing an album cover of this and whatever. But they're also saying that they can put fucking Supreme on anything and you will buy it.
They had a hammer, didn't they?
Yeah, Crowbar they just released.
It's just so ridiculous.
Crowbar just with fucking Supreme on it.
Yeah.
Luggage they've just done. Obviously they did the Louis Vuitton collab, which was fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like I think the denim jacket was like $5,000. You know, like the backpack was 12 bags, like £12,000. That's a car for a fucking red leather backpack that says Supreme and Louis Vuitton on it. I don't know if that's pounds or dollars, but
either way, like, you know.
But it's predominantly, it's, you know, and this is no disrespect to America, but America have got hold of this culture and just fucking pumped it full of steroids, and it's just like it's like turned into the fucking Hulk. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, which is cool, but it sort of sometimes speeds up something. It sort of fills up with hot air like dubstep, and it just pops, and then you realise it's actually nothing. Yeah, it's just hot air, you know, and it's like
goddamn Bitcoin all over again.
And you don't really want it to do that because it could spoil it, but it's, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, you want to sort of like a more gentle, you know, manageable
let's slowly
ride.
sort of, let's slowly, you know, sort of ease ourselves into it instead of being crowbarred around the head of like, buy this, oh my God, you know.
That is the American thing though, isn't it, of always wanting it bigger, more shiny, more ridiculous, more.
But that's not always better. That's unfortunately the mistake and the misconception is that bigger is not always better. Sometimes when you have to take the bullshit away, strip it all away, and what you're left with is the good stuff, you know. Yeah,
there's probably a segue into MMA right here. I'm thinking.
Let's go. Let's do it. I was going to say, how's the jiu-jitsu going?
It's good. I absolutely love it. Like I got my blue belt at the beginning of the year.
Well done.
So I was very pleased. Couple of years ago, my fucking arse handed to me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And there'll be many more years of that.
I wish it's definitely one of the things I'd wish I'd got into at an earlier age. I know there's no rule on, you know, getting into it and starting. Yeah. But it's definitely something I'd have loved to. Just love the art of jiu-jitsu that you can just tie someone up. Yeah. You know, and it doesn't matter if they're good with their hands and they're good with stand up. As soon as it comes on the floor, it's over.
Yeah, yeah. You know? Totally. It's nice to know that you could choke a motherfucker if a motherfucker would.
Yeah, or snap his arm, or, you know, like.
God, I mean, it's. Yeah, you have to be responsible with these things. Yeah. You know, if you're a complete arsehole, you could, you know, choke someone unconscious.
Who did I watch the other day? I watched. I went for a little bone breaking session on YouTube. I don't know what. Yeah, I went, and it was Frank Mir against.
Against Big Nog.
Yeah, where you actually see his arm pop.
Yeah, with that Kimura. Yeah. It was that's so nasty.
And the commentator's just like, it's gonna go, and you just see it pop, and it's like. Oh.
That's also the Brazilian mentality of not tapping to joint locks as well. Like, that's not helping anybody. Like, you got Frank Mir, like,
he's a lump.
Gigantic man with a locked out Kimura, and you're not tapping.
Yeah. He's a fucking lump.
What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah. He's on Fedor soon, isn't he?
Mir and Fedor?
Yeah. Bellator.
Bellator, yeah. God, I mean, it's kind of... I don't know... I don't want to see Fedor getting his face smashed in anymore.
No,
like
I don't.
That fight with Mitrione was...
That was a lucky...
Yeah. I mean, maybe then there was that one in Russia, like, with the Brazilian guy, I can't remember his name, who fucking beat the brakes off him. And then they gave Fedor the win. Do you remember that? It was about a year or two ago.
No.
And that guy ended up like appealing the last one. I was like, good luck, mate. It's in Russia. Like, what are you going to do? But, like, there was still a whole load of Fedor magic in there, like just letting his hands go. Really good. But, man, this first round, he just gets obliterated. Like, the referee's probably been told, do not stop it unless he's dead.
Yeah,
like
literally.
Yeah.
It is a real shame that Fedor never went to the UFC and only stayed in Pride.
That is
because there's some there's some matchups that would have been fucking special, man. With, you know, with Fedor coming in. But
I mean, Fedor in his prime, like really, who was gonna who was gonna stop that?
When he seemed to get on that like front, like that mounted position and just starts throwing the haymakers in, and they just it's like everyone's got like a heat-seeking fucking missile because they all connect to the head.
Yeah.
And
he's
a lump as well, you know. And I think it's like I really like the unorthodox way of training where he fucking just goes off to his like home.
Start there wrestling bears
and just runs and lifts logs and like cuts a fucking tree down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like
it's just normal Russian life, really.
Yeah, I like that's more romantic.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying about
definitely.
like the fighting thing? Like it's more like a Rocky film. Do you know what I mean? He's like chopping a wood, then he goes and beats the shit, rather than someone being
than the Dolph Lundgren doing it in the lab
tech
sort of thing.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like where that's where a lot of these athletes are, and I get that, and I get they want to get the maximum out of their body, and they want to get their potential, and it comes down to dietary requirements and resting, and you know multiple techniques, and you know, but. Yeah, there's something romantic about a geezer that just goes off to the fucking woods, chops some trees down, and then knocks everyone out. I just love it. I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah, just doing outrageous sambo as well. I mean,
well, we've got Khabib now as well. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Do you think he's the greatest wrestler? They're already throwing that around now. They're already saying he's the GOAT. Like there is no one better than him.
Ben Askren, maybe.
Yeah. Well, he's already put it out there that he wants to. I think there's going to come. It's going to happen.
Yeah, they're finally getting him. Yeah, he's the only other guy that really you'd be like, oh, never having been in the UFC.
Yes,
but he's potentially one of the world's best.
Yeah, yeah. He seems a lot like Khabib as well. Sometimes with his he's very dominating. Very
just the wrestle fuck.
Just like sits on top of you, ties you up, and just smacks you in the fucking head, and just while you're too busy protecting these points where and he's just
that's it. It's the wrestler mentality that just to continually drive forward and just plow someone into the mat or into the cage.
Like Daniel DC as well. Daniel Cormier. He's the same mentality.
Like no one works harder than those wrestlers. Like and those sort of college wrestling programs that they have, like sort of stuff that Askren actually does now.
Yeah,
are like it's just. Well, it's the grind that they all call it. Just this endless drilling, and just constant work. And they're fighting every weekend. Yeah. Wrestling. Like, have you ever seen any of the videos of Brock Lesnar doing college wrestling back in the day?
No, I've not. I can imagine he's just a fucking animal.
Absolute beast. Look at him, what an unbelievable freak of nature, roids or not. Like, I mean, obviously he's,
I think
jacked
he's
to the gills full of it, but still.
I think he signed a new contract with WWE, but it's non-exclusive.
Yeah,
so he will be back. But it will take him, with USADA now, it will take him a year to be able to get through the system of like being tested and fucking proven. Because, I mean, you've got all this shit with John Jones.
Yeah.
That they've now...
the tainted supplements.
They've now, proved that it was such a small amount that it wouldn't have affected his performance, that it's obviously coming off the back of something else, and it's just like, how can you punish that guy? He's not drugged deliberately to for an upper hand. He's done it before.
Got a past,
Yes, but this time now, after the last DC fight when he head kicked him, I mean, that whole fight was leading up to that head kick. Yeah. Like he was just building, setting it up, and then bang, he popped the head kick and he was out.
Yeah. So I'll make a pattern, then break the pattern. Yeah. Retain.
I sort of feel sorry for him because I know he's made some real fuck ups. Hit and run, running away, drugs, like. But I don't know what it is with him.
The only person that can beat John Jones is John Jones.
Yeah. And that is.
He's a wild
true,
man. This is the thing. It's like when you got that sort of genius for fighting. You don't get that genius for fighting without having something a little bit. Being a master of violence.
It's a stroke of art. It's like genius madness, isn't it? It's like it's
fine
a bit.
Line.
It's a bit. But yeah, he's man, he's got the potential to be fucking. I mean, I think he'll be back.
Oh, undoubtedly,
because he's
yeah.
still within his prime. He's still like early 30s. Like
Yeah.
he could still be fucking devastating.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I do think if he faces DC again, he'll do him again.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he can be beaten at light heavyweight.
I don't. I mean, who's Gustafsson? Is it Gustafsson? Gustafsson.
Alexander,
Yeah, he took
Gustafsson.
Gustafsson. He took him pretty close.
Yeah,
And his last fight when he just picked that geezer apart with uppercuts.
Oh,
I can't remember who he fought.
Grover Texeria.
Yeah, but he just fucking just hammered his head with those uppercuts. Brilliant.
Just hideous. Do you hear him on Rogan's podcast talking about like, oh, if John Jones can't make it back to the UFC, I'd like him in a boxing match?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Wow.
I mean, it would be.
I mean, I've watched John Jones fight since because he did like
he
a
grappled
wrestling.
down Henderson, didn't he?
He did a wrestling thing where it was just wrestling, just pure sort of wrestling. That was good to watch.
Yeah.
But man, there's some tasty guys, man. Like Ferguson, I really like Ferguson.
Yeah. What a shame. Like, it's almost like it's a cursed fight.
Yeah, and now Dana's saying he won't book it now. He's refused.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's refused.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm not. It's like 5 times now that are supposed to have fought, and it's just like, you know. But let's face it, like they have like Ferguson did his injury while doing media.
Yeah.
For UFC.
Did you hear what Dana said about it though? He's like, anyone who wears fucking sunglasses inside deserves it.
That's very true, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's very true. But
well, the real question now is Artem Lobov the greatest mixed martial artist in the world ever? That's the question on everyone's lips, wouldn't you think?
Man,
I wonder, like, maybe they'll just to punish McGregor, they'll kick Lobov out of the UFC completely.
I mean, I don't know. When I heard that he did that, when Conor had done that, and it was because he was cussing Khabib, wasn't he? And Khabib had a little word with him and give him a little dry slap backstage, and was like, "Oh, we start this in the ring, you fuck."
Khabib like gets him when the guy's on his own, and Khabib's with like the entire Dagestani wrestling team.
Right.
Like goes up to him, and gives him a hard time.
Yeah.
But so Connor's probably in a pub in Dublin, geared out of his little chops. Let's get a fucking plane over there.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Bring the jet round. Bring the fucking jet round.
Yeah, you can almost hear the conversation, innit? They've just all got on there steaming, fucking flown over, but he potentially, like, he fucked things up. Like he could, you know, he's definitely getting special treatment.
Yeah.
He's definitely been like, I think they addressed it on Rogan. He's definitely being treated, like, especially because if it was anyone else that had cancelled, I mean, how many matches did that card lose? 3?
3, yeah. Yeah,
like,
because of his, If there's anyone else that'd be out, undoubtedly. Like, there's, I mean, who? Either it was Brock Lesnar, maybe. Like, I mean, who? There's no one else.
Yeah, he's a very, very silly boy.
GSP maybe could get away with it, but could you imagine like what things would have to be true for GSP to do something like that?
Yeah, just
like, what would have had to have transpired?
It wouldn't be his mate that got a dry slap. It would be part of it. Yeah.
I mean, it's what do you imagine panning out as the consequences of this?
Well, I mean, I think he's going back to court, isn't he, in June or July? He's on bail till then.
Just pay everyone off, a few million down.
That's what I think.
Business.
I think that's what he's going to have to do. He's just going to have to settle with everyone and pay everyone off and then get in the fucking ring.
Yeah.
And then get in the ring and shut a few people up.
Yeah, and not with fucking this ridiculous idea of him and Mayweather in the cage, but there's no kicks, no takedowns, no submissions. But you can punch from the clinch.
What the fuck? Yes, is that the rules that they're going for?
That's been being discussed or something. But like, so be in the cage and like no shoes, MMA gloves, boxing, but you can clinch, no kicks. I mean, like,
I'd sort of heard that he was going to fight CM Punk.
Oh, Mayweather.
That was the.
He'd beat CM Punk. He probably would.
Yeah, I think it's just a fucking.
Well, CM Punk's fighting at 225, isn't he?
Is he?
Isn't he fighting the guy that he was supposed to fight initially, who was a fighter but sort of also a journalist or something, and it was going to be a sort of
I
fun,
don't know.
wacky
Yeah. Fuck knows. I think the thing what am I looking forward to now? What I'd really enjoyed was the women.
Rose and Joanna.
Yeah. J-Check. What a fight. What a fight.
Just the level of striking is just so ridiculously high.
Yeah, and I'm just really glad that she could prove that it wasn't a fluke.
Yes.
Because I think everyone,
Yeah.
even he was like, it's this, it's that. She was, walking around with it, and it's you can't. Someone that's defended their title this many times and someone just gets a win, you can't just assume that they're better. But he could have had a bad day. But to go in there and then take it 5 rounds, and you saw a fucking state of her face afterwards.
Yeah.
She'd been,
and Rose was on that bus, like,
yeah,
it's that just factors in so much. Like
she's a weird little kind of cat though, isn't she? Like I've watched a few of her like little YouTube things.
Oh, but like she's
quite strange.
Pat Barry, or is it?
Trainer. The fiance, I think, like them.
Singing Disney songs and punching him in the head while he's asleep. Have you seen that?
Yes,
that's so funny.
It's just a bit, she's a strange little character, but she's fucking, she knows how to fight, man. She was just diving in and before Jake can do anything, she's out again. Yeah. You know what I mean? She's like in, smack, and out. And
well, you've got to be, only you don't want to just stand in the pocket with Joanna. Like, Jesus, like the way that she throws punches at people, it's like there are no men that throw punches at people that just stand in front of someone and just will throw like 15 shots to the head. Yeah. It's like, bah, 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 bah,
but she hasn't got
them all.
Joanna hasn't really got the knockout. She's never really, all her fights have been stopped, but stopped after a barrage of punches. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Where Rose put her on her ass with one smack on the first fight, it was bang, and she staggers back. And
what do they weigh, like 115 or something like that? They're tiny.
Yeah, it's like, tiny. Yeah,
it's I'd probably still knock both of us out.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even. Hello, ladies.
Like keep her arm's length. It'd be like one of those cartoons of someone that's just wildly flailing.
But I tell you who else is interesting as well is Darren Till.
Darren Till, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
Man, he's got some hands on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a beast. He was a beast the last time.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's got the whole of Liverpool behind him, and and then the whole of the country really.
Well, Scousers are naturally hard as well.
I think he's a bit of a fucking naughty fucker though as well. I think he's been stabbed 3 or 4 times. He's a bit of a gang boy. Like he's been around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think he's just got that natural fucking killer instinct.
A friend of mine interviewed Jimmy Manover for Men's Health recently, and like from the sounds of it, it was like, well, it's great that I get paid for fighting now rather than just
to be able to do it. Yeah,
it's less less likely to get into trouble.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Man, he's a fucking unit as well. Like.
Yeah.
Oof. Who's Trill fighting next? Someone like it's a solid matchup. Like,
I can't.
Destroyed Cowboy. Which,
and Cowboy's not a fucking walk in the park, man.
Hell
if
no.
there's anyone,
he's fighting Wonder Boy.
Yes, that's it.
Fuck.
Wonder Boy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm not really a fan of Wonder Boy.
Hey, I want to see that Wonder Boy the third time against
Woodley.
Against Woodley. That's the fight everyone wants to see, isn't it?
No, mate. Just
Jesus.
Woodley not doing anything, just like refusing to jump in. He's the most athletic fucker there is, and it's just like he's like
unbelievable wrestler. And
he's just like muscle, but he just stands there. And I think isn't Wonder Boy has that sort of face on? He doesn't, or he goes
sort of karate.
He's got a karate pose.
Yeah,
and he's a counter. I think he's a counter striker, isn't he, Woodley? Not Woodley, Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see Woodley and him fight ever again. Ever.
I can't even imagine a world where
he
got
so slated after that fight when it was just like, geez, like like fucking hell, like do something. And Woodley's like complaining like, I need this, I want that, I want money. It's just like, dude, knock someone out then. Like, be entertaining.
Because he had that guillotine on him for ages, and it's like, oh, how did he survive in there? Well, it obviously wasn't on. Otherwise, he'd have gone unconscious. It's that simple. Like.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the moves that has to go down in history though is Mighty Mouse's in air
The
armbar.
yeah,
where he's
armbar from the suplex.
fucking hell, mate.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Jesus. Yeah, he's like, yeah, do it in training all the time. It's like my move.
Just thought I'd fucking throw it in there, and the
Just,
fact that
yeah,
it
alright.
worked. you
Yeah.
know? No, people don't give him as much props, man, as what he deserves. Really don't,
definitely.
because he's not a big trash talker. He just goes home, plays his fucking Twitch computer streaming, and kicks everyone's fucking ass like
Yeah.
at their skill set. Do you know what I mean? Like he goes, if it's a grappler, he seems to grapple with them, and it's like a striker, he seems to fucking go there and outstrike them. It's like
who is going to be the fight? Well, him, TJ Dillashaw would be the one, really. But then there's the
Dillashaw
rematch
said
with
that he'll go
Cody.
down.
Yeah,
He said he'll make the cut.
yeah. That'd be rough. I mean, he's gonna have to burn through some muscle for that.
Yeah, that's Diddy, and he's Diddy as it is. When he fought
Cody.
Yeah, got the Garbrandt and got the Garbrandt.
Yeah, so that's the next one. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that was kind of maybe stopped a little bit early. But I don't know their last one. But it'll be good to see the second, like the rematch would be nice.
Yeah. What about I want to see Nate again or Nick.
Yeah,
Nick-
well, Nick,
Nick's
yeah,
not-
I'd love
Nick-
to. Yeah,
is
I mean,
Nick-
he's just about to come off his suspension.
I was just about to say.
or he's just finished or something.
Yeah.
Who? Who? What?
I'd like Nate.
welterweight?
I'd like Nate and Connor again.
Would you?
Yeah. I'd like the trilogy. I'd like to
It'd be fun,
fucking
yeah.
find out once and for all.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. Like, otherwise, your fights are the Khabib for Connor, or
Ferguson.
yeah,
There's a few. That's division, like they say, division is the most stacked up, isn't it?
yeah.
It's got the most sort of contenders that are sort of up there now.
I would like to see Connor fight Husam Palhares. Do you remember he got kicked out of the UFC for holding onto a heel hook for too long, and has just like, oh man, if you ever look up his highlight reel of holding onto submissions for too long, it's so unpleasant.
He's a wanker.
He's an absolute scumbag. Like apparently he's like borderline retarded or something. But he's like one of the best leg lockers in the world.
Right, and the ref let
Yeah,
go.
no, the ref is literally like trying to pry his arms off while someone's knees just like turn round like being pulled apart like a Christmas cracker.
Wow,
It is hideous. Like, but man, like what would Conor do against? Although this guy seems to be getting knocked out of left, right, and centre at the moment in any division, in any promotions that'll actually have him.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to fight him. Like he got, who was it he fought? Someone, and he then sort of accused them of greasing their legs.
Wow.
Because like he goes to the leg lock and he just sort of slips out, and then he's like, "What?" And as he's doing this, comes in and just like and gets a TKO. It wasn't. I'll say Pat. No, not. No, I can't remember. God, I need that. Need some alpha brain to remember fighters' names. That's how Rogan does it all.
We need a loo down here, mate. I've got to go for. Can I go for a loo break quickly?
Yeah, of course, mate.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's absolutely fine.
I'm sort of going to tie a knot in a minute. Is that all right?
Well, you know what? We've done nearly 2.5 hours.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wrap it. I'm pretty close as well to.
I think my throat's gonna. Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
I think we've got
we
there.
did
Yeah.
drum and bass. You segued beautifully into trainers.
Do you like that one?
Loved it, mate.
It's like, how can we,
Did you stack the speakers with trainer boxes?
Tell me about the trainers.
The trainers, Gareth. Tell me. No, it's been good, mate. It's been
Wonderful,
a lot of
mate. An absolute pleasure. We should do an old vinyl session at some point.
Yes, I did bring some down, but
yeah.
we've ended up chatting.
Yeah.
But, mate, I'm only up the road. I'll come down and bring some
Brilliant.
influential vinyl.
And it's great to say that you to say that you'll do all my mix downs for me. That's really nice of you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Just the fee that we agreed, yeah?
Yeah. No, that's fine. I can.
Sweet.
Right, a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Take care.